October 6, 2015, Tuesday, Calexico City Council, Calexico Redevelopment Successor Agency, Calexico Financing Authority, regular meeting and closed session open for roll call. Yes?
Here. He was here, he left, he's going to come back.
Here.
Okay, thank you. We have a closed session of the City Council, Calexico Community Redevelopment Agency, Successor Agency, Calexico Financing Authority may be held in accordance with state law, which may include but is not limited to the following types of items: personal matters, labor negotiations, security matters, providing instructions to real property negotiators, and the conference with legal counsel regarding pending litigations. The closed session will be held in the City Hall conference room located at 608 Heber Avenue, Calexico, California. Any public comment on closed session items will be taken before the closed session. Any required announcement or discussion of closed session items or actions following the closed session will be made in the City Council chambers, 608 Heber Avenue, Calexico, California. So, do we have some public comments? It looks like we don't have public comments for this closed session. So we don't have public comments for the closed session. We're going to go into the closed session. 1, public employee discipline, dismissal, release, Government Code 54957B, title Interim City Attorney. 2, public employee appointment, Government Code 54957B, title Interim City Attorney, City Attorney. 3, public employee performance evaluation, Government Code Section 54957B, title Acting City Manager. 4, conference with labor negotiators, labor negotiator, mayor, and the city attorney on presented employee acting city manager, Government Code 54957.6. We adjourn to closed session. The Tuesday, October 6, 2015, Calexico City Council, Calexico Redevelopment Successor Agency, Calexico Financing Authority, regular session meeting, 6:30 p.m., exactly 6:30 p.m. We starting meeting. Call to order, 6:30 p.m. Call to order and attendance. Yes.
Present.
Here. Here.
Thank you. The Pledge of Allegiance to the Mr. Villarreal, would you lead us Pledge of Allegiance? Invocation by Pastor Modesto Diaz, Calexico Unified Methodist Church. Pastor Diaz. Okay, I think we're going to skip this then. Closed session announcements.
No reportable actions were taken.
Thank you. Now time for the approval agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Can you vote?
Aye.
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 Mr. Hurtado? Motion carries 5-0.
Motion carries 5-0. Announcement. This proceeding may be viewed on the City of Calexico website at www.calexicocalifornia.gov the Friday following the City Council meeting. Presentations. Number 5, proclamations. Freedom from Workplace Police Work Week, October 18th and 24th, 2015. I believe we have each council member has written the proclamations. So I'm going to start in, so every council member follow that. Whereas the City of Calexico was uninterested in promoting the social and the economic well-being of the citizens, employees and the employers, and
Whereas that well-being depends upon the existence of healthy and productive employees working in a safe and abuse-free work environment, and
Whereas abusive work environments are costly for employees. Whereas research has documented that stress-related health consequences for individuals caused by exposure to abusive work environments, and
Whereas abusive work environments are costly for employers with consequences including reduced productivity, absenteeism, turnover, and injuries, and
Whereas protection from abusive work environments should apply to every worker and not be limited to legally protected class status based on race, color, gender, national origin, age, and disability.
now, therefore, I, Jung S. Kim, Mayor and the City Council of the City of Calexico, do hereby proclaim October 18 through 21st, 2015 as Freedom from Workplace Police Week, and commence the California Healthy Workplace Advocates and the Workplace Bullying Institute, which raise awareness of the impacts of and the solution for workplace bullying in U.S. and encourages all citizens to recognize this special observance. In witness whereof, I hereunto affix my signature and the official seal of the City of Calexico on this 6th day of October 2015. Jung S. Kim, Mayor. Is anybody representing the freedom of workplace bully?
has somebody been bullied in the workplace?
So, Mr. Hermoso? Now, public comments and the public appearance. Note, not to exceed 3 minutes. This is the time for the public to address the City Council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The mayor will recognize you, and when you come to the microphone, please state your name and the place of the residence for the record. While members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay the council meeting with personal or slanderous remarks. If the item you wish to comment on is a closed session or consent item, please comment now. The City Council is prohibited by state law from taking action or discussing item not included on the printed agenda. If the item you wish to comment on is on the public portion of the agenda, we will take your comment when we get to the item on the agenda. Please direct your questions and comments to the City Council. Is anybody who wants to have a public comment? We only have one person. If someone wishes, they can submit right now. The person who wish to talk,
Speak now.
Alejandra Andrade.
Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Hi, my name is Alejandra Andrade. I don't know speak English, so I speak Spanish. Yo bailo tahitiano y he ganado concursos de Ori Tahiti y estos son mis trofeos y ahora me tocó competir en Puerto Vallarta, México y voy a representar a Calexico, pero mis recursos no son muy buenos y he estado trabajando para poder sacar mi dinero del viaje, pero no me es suficiente y necesito dinero para mi viaje y a ver si me pueden apoyar. Necesito como $400 para poder completar el dinero. That's it.
Thank you. Okay. So is there any other public who wish to talk? Okay, the timer. Okay, if we have a public to the normal public comment, then we're going to bring to the council to comment. So is any council member wish to start? Mr. Real?
I guess. I would just like to thank everybody for being here tonight, and just to let you, I have some questions to see if the chief of police can help me out with here, because our social media in Calexico has been getting really crazy, and I really think that the city of Calexico needs to get a Facebook page that is an official Facebook page from the city that'll put all these issues to rest. There's so much going on with investigations and all kinds of fake Facebook pages trying to say things about council members out there. And so, I just want to publicly say, that I do support Chief Bostic, and I just wanted to ask Chief Bostic if at any time as a council member I have impeded an investigation or even asked you one single question regarding an investigation, because that's something that's coming out to people are saying that I'm trying to do things here and there, and I'm going to state here publicly that I do not support bringing back Mr. ex-police chief Pompeo Tavares, and I support Chief Bostic, and I wanted to ask you that question because I think it's fair for the public to know the truth, that I'm not trying to impede any investigation, or I haven't even asked you one single question regarding the investigations. I think that all those things are in your hands and the city manager's hands, and city council members should not be getting involved. So.
Yeah, it's a very interesting council member. It's been a long year. The one thing I've learned about Calexico is lots of people tell stories and very few are based on facts. I gave an update to the police commission the other night about where the investigations were, and they got twisted into a completely different story. So welcome to my world. Yes, we do have a lot of investigations going on, as I reported to the Police Commission. Some of those investigations that were left over in the mess that was left of me are now completed, about 95% of them. We still have a few that are going to be long-term investigations. Completed doesn't mean they're over. It just means that now they're in the review process, and now we have boards going. And you're correct. You have never asked me about those investigations. You've only asked me about status, which you're entitled to do. And you've asked me how much money we spent, which you're entitled to do. You should know. It's not a secret. We spent a lot of money. We spent $340,000 last year on investigations. It's a lot of money. So the option was either spend the money or pull the only 2 sergeants that I have out of the field, and all they did was investigations all year. That's not an option. So we spent about what it cost to have 2 police officers in the field to do the investigations that were left neglected for nearly 3 years. So we're basically playing catch-up. So what I was actually reporting to the Police Commission that got misrepresented to the media and on the websites was that our internal investigations on those cases that got dumped on me are completed, and they're in the process, and there's board hearings, and those are the kinds of things that are going on. And to this point, no one has officially tried to interfere with those investigations. Just like you said, lots of social media interference, people within the city and within government releasing facts and information. And no, you have not interfered with those.
And there seems to be some type of people are trying to portray to the to constituents and the public that as council members we have the right to give somebody their job back or bring them back from administrative leave, and that is simply not true. And I think that's important that the people know.
Yeah, the only power the city council has is to eliminate the money for the investigations and the ongoing court hearings, but that has not happened. We've had all the money we've needed to make that happen. And I think every one of those officers deserve their day in court before a judge and find out the truth. That's where it's found out. It's not always found out in the investigations. So I hope the process just goes its course. If some of them come back, some of them come back. If some of them don't, some of them don't. That's the way the system is supposed to work. It's a legal system. And as long as I'm the chief, it's always going to be a fair system. It's going to be above board. We're going to do the right thing and let the chips fall where they may.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Castro.
Yes. Last week, I attended to League of California Cities in San Jose, and I contact with several directors from housing, recreation, some programs related to the city, and the majority of the program was very important for us, and that's something that gave me the opportunity to make very important questions, and they answered those questions related to anything related to the city, and also they give us so much information in order to us to look some anything again related to the city. So for me it was a great conference, and I believe that every council need to go up there and look for some very important issues from the city. And again, I believe it's very important, and I enjoyed the conference. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Castro.
Mr. Kim, can I just add something? Today was the first day in the morning I went outside and I said, wow, this weather's beautiful.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Moreno.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Kimian. And yes, I did see Mr. Real with a parka on. I thought he was in Alaska. It was so cold. I just want to let you know that I did not get a chance to attend the League of California Cities, which is held once a year in September in various cities throughout the state of California. One year it's in Northern California, and one year it's in Southern California. I believe last year it was in Los Angeles. And I've attended these before, and it's a great opportunity for our council to network with various agencies and private industry that help cities run efficiently, from legal aspects to infrastructure to recreation, parks, and many of the complex things that it takes to run the city. And I want to thank Mr. Real, Mr. Castro, and Mayor Kim for attending that meeting. I also want to thank Mr. Acting City Manager Nick Finley for also going up there, and I believe in speaking with him, he hadn't attended one of these functions. And there are workshops, there are seminars, there are places. It's a great learning experience, and I congratulate him and I thank him for going up there and doing what he had to do as an acting city manager. He has a daunting task ahead of him, and it's not going to get any easier, but we as a council at this time must support him. We must provide him and not set him up for failure, but set him up for success, because we have that power. So without any further ado, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Finley on working with us and moving us in the right direction. And the ultimate goal for our acting city manager is to find a permanent city manager, to fill those necessary positions that we need, such as a human resources director, a finance director, a city manager, and something that has been brought to my attention, perhaps the possibility of an assistant city manager. So these are the things that we need to look forward to in the coming year, working with Mr. Finley. And I know, we're looking at perhaps 3, 4, 5, 6 months, whatever it takes to get a permanent city manager. So thank you very much, and thank you very much, Mr. Finley, and members of the council who attended the League of California Cities.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. Ms. Hurtado.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to welcome all the students that are here today. You can see that a lot of you are coming here, and it's an important time to be here in the city of Calexico. Lots going on. Let's talk about facts. As a council member, we are 5 people here, and about on the 15th of September, we had a turnover. That turnover was unexpected. I think that a lot of us are still a little bit in shock. We did have our council relieve our last city manager, which was the focus of a lot of concern to hire 3 months ago, because our insurance company was threatening to cancel us if we didn't have stability. The word stability for the city of Calexico is really important. We haven't had stability in a really long time. For the last 5 years that I've served together here with John Moreno, we've had 5 city managers, 1 every year. If you compare to El Centro, Centro's had a stable city manager for the last 20 years, maybe?
30.
30 years, same city manager. This city is unstable. So this city is so unstable that we're losing our insurance. We're losing our insurance, which means that we may be facing the possibility of our government shutting down. That date is October 28th, and as of September 15, when the turnover occurred in this council, because it wasn't myself, decided to let go of our last city manager. It triggered a decision from the JPIA, and now we have that risk to lose everything. From that date, I have not had any contact from our acting city manager other than when I reach out to him. So I'll sit here and I'll tell you what I've seen as an audience member, because that's pretty much how much I've had as far as input. We have no plan B. We have no idea what's going to happen on the 28th. We have no insurance policy for sure. We don't know who we're going to work with. We don't have a budget. We don't have financials. When the new acting city manager was appointed, there was a news media release, which I only was advised of it 20 minutes before it occurred. So obviously I wasn't able to make it. But that's okay. I was able to read some items, and the concern is that a lot of the information that's out there about the concerns of why we are missing our city manager, I believe this council here is highly neglecting their responsibility to you that I don't believe they really knew what was going on here, and we are actually facing a crisis for no good reason. If that doesn't scare you, I'm not sure what else will. But we are facing a crisis right now, and today, hopefully, we'll leave today with some answers. Because I think these kids out here, the future of Calexico needs to know the answers. So when I ask questions, and I ask specific questions, I am a finance person. I've been a finance person for the last 30 years of my life. So when we talk about these kinds of things, I'm going to look for specific answers. Because up to today, which is the 6th of October, from the 15th of September to today, I have had no answers. So I think it's really important that we realize that, and we do not let this city go down without ensuring that we avoid being neglected. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hurtado. Okay. Ms. Hurtado was mentioning that we have the future of the Calexico students here. So your students attending this meeting, I hope they learn something for their future. Okay. As Mr. Moreno was mentioning, I'm the one of them went to the convention. That the city, the interesting things, the city of Millbrae, that's next of the airport, the city has been last 5 years working with foreign investments. Mainly, they went to China, and they put $1.2 billion investment in there. So now they're talking. Pretty soon they're going to be over the Silicon Valley. So they are, in 5 years, they're growing so fast. For example, they made a 20,000 square feet of the Chinese restaurant. So they hold the San Francisco areas, they're going to the Chinese restaurants. They have a lot of investment, foreign investment coming in. They're blessing their city economy. And also I found it one of the agencies to working for the tax credit to build affordable housing. Actually, especially California has a lot of issues on the affordable housing. And right now, so I saw the report, and Calexico, to 1.6% full job, they have to work to be able to pay their rent. So we need affordable housing to help the low-income families. And the other one is we went to a convention with the family, and we talked with the JPIA representative. We're going to have a meeting this week or next week sometimes to go there to meeting with them to discuss the issues and support from there. And the other one is talking with the garment industry. They were manufacturing industry. They were making decision they're going to look into go to the El Paso, Texas. And last Friday, I met them with them. They agreed to put the second option as a Calexico. And now they have a major industry, it's a garment industry, sewing industry. They hire a lot of employees. They totaled all the garment industry talking about 1,800 business. Each business, if you're talking about the 50 employees each business, we talk about the 90,000 jobs. If we get half of them, 45,000 jobs here or more. So we talking with the sewing industry. I'm planning to go this Friday to meet them again. Luckily today, our staff, Erica, found one of the workers' comp rate is very low. Workers' comp rate for the sewing industry, and they're going to be very exciting to look into. So please, we work together to bring these the jobs in the Valley, especially in Calexico. Some people they remember. End of last year and early this year, I was talking to a company from Korea. Actually, they were trying to buy the broiler beef. They asked me to keep the secret, so I cannot talk. Actually, they were talking about the broiler beef, buying the broiler beef, to importing to Korea and selling to China. They already had over $500 million they've been approved by bank. And suddenly, we had a very chaos in the council and bullies, and suddenly they disconnected the communication, and they out of the deal. I was convincing them to how good is to profitable the company. So we have to show the people out there we're working together to progress our city. Thank you. So, Mr. Finley, Acting City Manager's report.
Good afternoon, Council and members of the audience. I had the privilege of attending the League of Cities this past week, and which was held there in San Jose. During our time there at the League of Cities, I attended various conferences, sessions, finance sessions for those who don't work in finance, and other, met other city managers and had discussions with them and made some good communication and met very important people that gave me some tips and gave me support and were out there to give me a helping hand. It was very informative, and it was a good thing I attended. It was a good conference, and I encourage the council next year, it'll be in Long Beach, that we all attend and participate in this type of conference. While we were there, I had the opportunity to meet with the Assistant Executive Director of our JPIA, Norm Freeman, and during our conversation, I introduced myself and gave him a little bit of background into what our goals were for us these coming few months. And we also made contact with them, so we're trying to set up an appointment to see them within the next week, this coming week or next week, so we can officially meet with the Executive Director, which is John Schultz. So within the near future, we'll be traveling up there to meet with them, and so we can have a face-to-face and put a face to the name and express our concerns and what our future has to hold for us and which direction we're going to be headed. Also, we are currently gathering information, and we have our workman's comp carrier along with our general liability carrier gathering statistics so we can provide to another underwriter who is interested in providing a service. So we're currently working on a Plan B, so we do have a backup plan to fall back in case the JPIA does choose to pull our membership.
City Manager, if you don't mind, could you please tell the audience, because I know we have a lot of new people here, what that means? Why are we losing, or why are we on the chopping block? Why is the JPIA insurance policy at this time, in your opinion, why are we looking at a possible loss?
The possible loss is due to different things. One is our lawsuits that are pending, the number of lawsuits we have pending.
I was looking for you to say that this was triggered on the 15th of September when there was a decision made.
Ms. Hurtado, you're misleading the community. You ask him to let him to answer yours.
No, I'm sorry, sir. There's
you cannot pinpoint his answer to where you want. That you asking his answer, please.
So the question was, in your opinion, the 15th of September was the date that triggered the decision that we're looking at now, the crisis that we have now. That's my opinion. I'm sorry. What do you feel it was? It wasn't, because we were already stable. We already had a city manager, and we had about, what, 3 months? Where we were pretty much left alone by JPIA, and then, wow, here we are again. So my question is, why are we here again?
I haven't had the time to talk to them, so I don't know at this time until I meet with them and they bring up their concerns to me.
Okay, just to remind everybody, we do have a 28th date where there's going to be a meeting of the board. I think it's a 9-member board for JPIA, where that's where then there's going to be an item where the city of Calexico will be considered for cancellation on the 28th, right?
It's not true.
They're going to be hearing or discussing.
Intent for cancellation.
No, it's not true neither. I have a letter from they consider the continue the service to the Calexico.
It does
The
not.
letter clearly said continuous service.
Okay, well, we haven't seen formally any other letter other than the one we saw. The one
That letter to
issued
give
on
it to all the
Friday.
council members.
So if there was another letter that was issued, I don't have that. Do you mind providing that? Do you have that, John?
Yeah, they sent it to all council members.
Do you have that second letter?
I can provide you a copy of it, yes.
Okay, it appears that John doesn't have that second letter.
I believe someone put it on Facebook already. I don't know why they say they don't have it.
I don't think I have it either, but
Anyway, I think it's important that we speak clearly about what it is, exactly where we're at right now, sorry.
Thank you. So, go ahead.
Going on city finances, there's a item on the agenda. It's an informational item in regards to our currently status on our revenues as of June 30th of this year. It's, the revenues have been estimated to be 957,000 over the projected for the year. So that's a positive. However, we don't know what the total expenditures were for the year, so we need to determine that before we can give you an actual balance as to where our revenues do stand. And then we will be meeting with our city auditors who are conducting our audits, which are Pun and Maggette, on Friday, October 9th at 11 a.m. here at City Hall to go over the audit that's pending for 2013, 2014 to find out the status on that report, on that audit, and to find out what information that is still needed from the city to finish up that report and complete it, that audit. And I held the department head meeting this morning, met with staff, and gave them direction for each individual department to provide a budget proposal by the end of next week. Instruction was given that the request be the minimum required for us to continue providing the service to our residents until we can find out how we stand financially, and then we can look at a mid-year review and then make any adjustments that need to be made.
can I ask a question?
Yes.
You were, you are a department head, Public Works Director, no, not, that would be Public Work Director, and your title was?
Public Works Manager.
Public Works Manager. So the last budget that we were.
City Attorney, if I may, point of order, should there be any engagement between city manager and city council? Or this is just a report from the city manager instead of engaging in conversation? Because this is not on the agenda, we can't discuss it.
Well,
I asked for these agenda items, remember, Mr. Manager?
I'm sorry for interrupting, Mr. Royale, but I just want to make a point of clarification.
as far as, I mean, there can be a certain amount of question and answer as long as there's not a prolonged dialogue and a decision-making process. I mean,
Because at the
basically-
last meeting, you said there couldn't be any engagement, that it was a report out, but I guess we're bending the rules again?
There's not a bright line there. I think,
Okay.
you know, if he brings up something, there's a question, that's fine. What we don't want to do is have a back and forth kind of a dialogue.
Okay.
You know, I mean, if he brings something up, you want a clarification, that's fine.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
pursuant to the Brown Act, we have to discuss items only on the agenda. And I just want to make sure we follow that.
Yes, but that is Orlando is questioning.
That's fine, I can wait.
And that's my report.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. So if you have any questions,
Now we can ask questions.
now we have a consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda, consent calendar are to be considered routine by the City Council, Calexico Community Redevelopment Agency, Success Agency, or Calexico Financing Authority, and we will be enacted by one motion in the form list. Any item may be removed from the consent calendar and considered separately by the City Council. Is there any council member wish to pull out?
Yes, I'd like to pull 7, 8, 9, and 12. And
7,
14.
8, 9, 14.
No, 7, 8, 9, 12, and 14.
12 and 14. Okay. Is any other council member? I'd like to pull the number 13.
Why don't we just pull all of them?
So if
What's left to approve here?
6, 10, and 11.
6, 10,
6,
11.
10, and 11.
If there's no one else wanting to pull those items, Mr. Mayor, I motion for their approval.
Do we have a second?
Second.
So we vote. We are approving 6, 10, 11, 3 items.
6, 10.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. The 5 votes. Okay. 7, Ms. Hurtado.
I'm going to combine number 7, item number 7, and item number 8. Item number
Okay.
7 and 8 are the warrants between August the 20th through September 2nd, and then number 8 is the warrants, which are the city checks, from September 3rd, 2015 to September 16th, 2015. The day that that the council sent home our city manager, Richard Warren, was the 15th of September. On the 16th of September, many of my supporters asked me to come to City Hall and sit here because we had no city manager, we had no finance director, we had no one here as far as management in charge. So I came here and I sat here and I realized that, you know, a lot happens when there's no one around, and we actually had a $117,000 check that day to have to issue, and staff was lost. So good thing was I was here and we were able to calm everybody down a little bit. But yes, it seems like everything seems a little calm here, but actually we have been going through some crisis and we still are. So the one thing that I noticed is that we're still issuing checks with the signature of Mr. Richard Warren and Mr. John Quinn. Mr. John Quinn has not been our employee for about the last 2 months. Mr. Warren has been gone for about a couple of weeks, but yet our checks continue to issue themselves with those 2 signatures on them. So I know that in probably a couple of first days there was some activity going on here in finances, but I guess nobody noticed that we need to change that, City Attorney. We need to change that, and I don't believe it's legal to allow 2 signatures from 2 individuals that are no longer with the city to appear on city checks.
We believe that Mr. Eduardo Garcia was one of the signers of the check. Gutierrez, I'm sorry. Eduardo Gutierrez, approved by the council. He's the signer of the checks.
I believe we have about 20 bank accounts, I think, or something. There's several counts, I think. So I think we need to take care of that in all of them. That would be probably a priority. I don't believe that our finance manager that's not with us anymore would want to have the responsibility of knowing that his signature still appears on our checks. So somebody needs to take care of that. That's all. I motion for its approval, number 7.
Second.
I have a question on item 7 and 8.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, I was looking on those items, and I didn't find any payment to Mr. Bostic. Not even nothing. No amount payment for Mr. Bostic, the consultant. Eduardo, can you tell me what happened, or probably I missed those payments, or can you elaborate that?
Before Mr. Gutierrez started, further clarification to my fellow council member. If they have any question to the city manager going to be, in case he needs to bring the staff, they're going to bring the staff.
Maybe this month was a freebie, Chief.
Apparently, they're not part of the warrant, so but we'll make sure we include them on the next warrant. The payroll is not on there, neither is on these warrants.
Yeah, so you told me about the payroll going to be, all the payrolls going to be separately?
Correct.
Okay.
We'll be adding that to the warrants.
So would you adding next ones together?
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, I just want to ask
That's it, thank you.
I want to ask a question. The past warrants, the chief was on there. The thing is, why other city employees aren't on there? Is it the reason why only the chiefs is on there?
You'll have all employees will be on there.
All employees will be on there?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
I believe that Mr. Finley was mentioning.
I do want to state that this new, can Mr. Gutierrez, correct? Can Mr. Gutierrez tell me the difference between the last warrants we were getting and these, because these seem to have a lot more detail.
Yes, good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Eduardo Gutierrez, and I was appointed acting finance director 9 days ago. And I want to try to answer all your questions at this point. One of the requests from city manager was to provide a little more detail on the list of checks that the city expense. In this case, is biweekly. Every 2 weeks or every council meeting, we try to provide a list of warrants issued. Not all the expenses are here because we don't include payroll. We don't have payroll because of the confidentiality, names or salaries. But probably that was oversight that Mr. Bostic was not included here, included as a salary employee. I apologize for that, but it will include it in the next report.
Is this these new warrants given from the new Springbrook system, or is it still from the MOMS system?
No, this is totally on the new software.
So this is from Springbrook?
Yes, we just try to provide a little more detail. And
the old warrants we were getting were also from Springbrook that you know
yes.
of? So they're both from Springbrook, just different? Correct.
Since July 2015, we are running our expenses on the new software.
So as far as giving more information, like here, was it a hard thing to do, or is it just really simple to kind of do it on the computer and it gives you more information?
Yes, basically we have all kind of reports that it can be produced, and I think it's going to be improved. I apologize, but this is a way, or we're trying to improve and provide you the more transparent expenses. And the rush to provide it, probably we omit some expenses, but we want to make sure that you have the backup to support this report.
How close are we to having the Springbrook system completely in place? The past finance director had given us last time a 3-week time frame, which was almost 3 months ago. Are we close to having it ready? Is it a year off? Are we weeks off? Do you have an idea of when the MOM system can be completely done with, and the Springbrook system, and why it's taken more than a year to implement? Does anybody have an answer to that? I'm not saying you do, but does anybody have an answer to that?
Okay, well, probably I need to explain why we have the city running in 2 ledgers for fiscal year 45. The first 9 months of the fiscal year, the first 9 months of the fiscal year 2014-15 was run on the old software, and issues regarding the implementation of the new chart of accounts are not complete at this date. So that's prevent finance to move and consolidate into one software all the data produced for the expenses at this point. We are planning, and our goal is to complete this week the final chart of accounts, so we will have the opportunity or take advantage of this software. I know it's pretty good, not all the city is, not all city employees are exposed to this software yet because it's not complete implementation.
Do you have a time frame for the completion of the implementation of?
I hope in this Friday.
This Friday?
Our goal is to have completed by this Friday.
Okay.
The whole closing of the books is by Friday?
No, I'm not talking about.
What are you talking about by Friday?
I'm talking about the creation of the new chart of accounts.
Okay, I think he's asking, how soon is it going to be so you could close your books?
That's not the issue. Probably going to take more time than expected.
Give us an estimate?
Okay, probably need to go back and give you more details. Okay.
Because I think it's important for everyone here to understand, because I know that there's been a call for audit. Forensic audit. You can't audit a set of books that aren't closed yet, correct? These books are not closed, and we knew that. I knew that at least from a long time ago. So when do you expect to close the books?
Well, the deadline for
we're talking
for
14,
submit
15.
audit and completion of the books is March 31st, 2016, and that's our goal.
So you expect to close the books by March?
We are working diligently.
Okay, so no audit can be conducted until the books are closed, correct?
Correct.
Not even a forensic audit can be conducted upon a set of books that are not yet closed, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so when anyone here is talking about audit, they need to understand that first, this city needs to go into the backlog that it has had, which I knew it existed. I'm not sure why these don't understand that it existed, but you are still right now working on the backlog, and like you said, you have not yet trained the individuals you have there to be able to help you get out of that backlog. Is that correct, what I just heard?
Yes.
Okay. Are we doing anything about training?
Thank you, Ms. Hurtado, so supporting for this mess. Thank you.
I'm sorry, it's just that I had asked for an agenda item for this so we could talk to everybody about it, but apparently it didn't happen. So
I'm sorry. So you've been there 9 days, correct? As a finance
Yes,
administrator.
I've been.
So I'm sorry to put all this pressure on you
But
of the
30
mess.
years, is it 30 years with the city?
Yes, but
Mr. Mayor, we're discussing warrants. Is that correct?
Yes.
What does this discussion have to do with the warrants?
Because you wanted to know when the books were going to be closed, because that's the big crisis we have right
But this,
now.
we're talking about the warrants.
This is money paid out, right?
The only reason
Well,
I wanted to pull it out, the only reason I wanted to pull this item was because I noticed that we're still using the signatures of individuals that no longer live here, work here, and we need to remove that immediately.
Okay.
This should not have been left there since a long time ago.
Okay.
I motion for its approval if anybody wants to.
Second.
So any discussion? We both. You have a discussion?
I
No
guess not.
discussion, Mr.
Okay.
Mayor. I second it for no discussion.
Call the vote?
Aye.
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 Aye. Ms. Hurtado?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, so number 9.
Great.
No, we did 7. Oh, I'm
No, we
sorry.
just did 7.
I motion for the approval of item number 8.
Second.
With the understanding that there will be a correction soon. And please let us know when that happens.
Second.
Okay, we vote for the 8 then? We vote for the 8. Approving the 8. Aye.
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 I have a question on the same item, number 8.
But you was waiting until I was asking.
Okay, no problem.
You snooze, you lose.
Okay.
All right.
Can you vote?
Yes.
Aye.
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 What are we doing on number 8?
Yes.
8.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, number 9.
I pulled this item, which is the resolution of the City of Calexico's continuing budget for the fiscal year 2015. This is our proposed annual budget, which is for the 15-16 fiscal year, starts July the 1st. We're looking at wanting to continue this budget here, and when on the 15th, when the turnover occurred and the city manager was fired, There was no information about this budget here. It wasn't adopted just yet. The new management that we have now is saying that, well, didn't say it directly necessarily to me, they said it on the news, which is where I heard, that this budget's going to, that there's problems in this budget. So my question was, what is the problems? If we have to move on and we're going to be asking extension after extension after extension, I think it's really important that we understand specifically and highly detailed, because again, I'm a finance person, done it all my life. I need to know specifically what is it exactly that's wrong with this. And when I came to visit with our city manager, he was unable to tell me at that time. And it's very concerning, because when we are criticizing a budget like this, and we're not even sure how to express ourselves, what the problems are, I'm worried. And I need to know in detail, what is it that we're doing here? Because we're holding up everything. And we're holding up everything for what? Really confusing, isn't it? So this is the opportunity then to understand, what is it then exactly, what's wrong with the presentation of this one? You said it didn't have substance, but saying that it doesn't have substance is a little too generalized for financial people like me. And you also said that it was the numbers. Well, of course it's the numbers. It's a 440-something page document full of numbers. Which specific numbers are we talking about? And at what point are we going to actually come to understanding what the criticism here, other than generalities? What day can we do that? That's why I asked you for the item today, Mr. City Manager. I know that you said I didn't follow rules. However, you do have executive discretion. And because these are items that are so important to this community right now, that many of us do feel we're in a crisis. And we do have some issues here that need to be resolved. And the fact that I asked for these very important items, we could have discussed it very openly. And that's why I got to take advantage of this opportunity to shove all this in there, because I didn't have my items. So, you know, that technicality that because John didn't write a letter to you, come on. I mean, you know, the executive management discretion can be sometimes towards what the city needs to know. So I'm a little disappointed it didn't go on. But anyhow, I want to know what is wrong with the presentation of this budget. Or if you're not prepared to do so today, then let's go ahead and put another item and we'll do it then. Maybe we should do a special meeting.
I would like to take this time to say that we actually, for the community, we actually did have a budget workshop where four council members were here. I believe Ms. Hurtado was absent. That was the budget workshop where we went through the budget with the prior city manager, Mr. Richard Warren, and we brought up all the stipulations that were off on this budget. And I would just like to say that one of the reasons that budget, as far as substance or weight goes, is it's based on 2 years projected numbers, and you don't go off projected numbers for 2 years. You have to show some type of steady graph that shows where the numbers are going, and so that's, I believe, where the city city manager is got to work on it. Also, department heads were not even taken into consideration. The department heads like the fire department, your department wasn't taken into consideration at all on that budget. I don't think any department head was sat down with the finance director and the city manager and was asked, what do you need this year? What is your budget? Is that correct? Okay, so there's many things wrong with that budget that I at least asked on that special meeting. And if you're right, Ms. Maritza Hurtado, this is extremely important. I think the fiscal status of our city is the most important thing. You should have been here.
Thank you,
my point is that we do have a new city manager that didn't have this package in his hands at that time. When I sit down and I interview with this city manager, and we don't have those answers in this city manager's possession, that is what I'm referring to. I am not referring to another meeting. I'm referring to what is happening now with this city manager that we have here, and the ability, or rather, you know, the neglect that we have such a serious problem. And how is it that we're solving it? We're not solving it appropriately, do we? Do we really have the skills? Do we really have the knowledge? Do we really have that experience to get us out of this financial situation that you appear to think we have? So I think that maybe this manager, not the other, This manager wasn't there that day either. So I think that this manager here, we might need a new one, a new meeting, so that we can, together with you and I, then learn what is it that's going on over here with the ideas and be able to do this right the first time. Because what concerned me the most is that no one here ever spoke to our auditor. Our auditor has been with us, how long, John? 15 years?
At least.
Pun and McGeady has been with the City of Calexico for about 15 years. They're here all the time. So when you all were having your comments and your concerns, no one ever talked to any of the professionals that are around us. And arriving at conclusions about our budget and the presentation without first doing some homework and doing due diligence with experts in the field, we may be moving along in a very, very complex situation trying to put Band-Aids on something that needs an operation. So that is my concern, and I said so to you directly, Nick, that I think you need to fill yourself with some more higher level skilled. I know that you have right now a consultant. She's a municipal expert. I've spoken to her. When I spoke to you, no one had spoken to her either. So, you know, it's highly concerning the mismanagement, the irresponsibility with our crisis by not talking to the experts. And if you would have spoken to the experts, you would have known a lot more information and have been able to take better action and quicker. So, like John says, no one wants to set you up for failure, but as I'm looking at it and analyzing it, we're not pulling in the heavy hitters that we need. We had them, but for some reason, somebody decided that they didn't want them here. So here we are in a crisis with no experts. We're managing this city with middle managers. Someone's already told you guys that before. So my concern, once again, is we need help. And I don't believe that we can actually go very far without appropriate help.
Thank you, Mr. Hurtado.
Can I say something real quick? I'm sorry.
Thank you for your supporting all the mass. Because
so
you're supporting the mass, we come in this 8 months recording. Our recording is not consolidated. That's our budget is a fictitious numbers. They are caricaturas.
Let me just touch base on something real quick. The city of Calexico, you know, if any Fortune 500 company, all of a sudden their CFO, their chief financial officer, which in our case is our finance director, and the second guy under him, which is actually here, Mr. Richard Reno, and both of them leave within 2 months of each other, people, something is wrong. Something is definitely wrong with our finances. And I know this man, Gutierrez, has only been there 9 days. I'm not saying that the city doesn't need help. We do need help when it comes to our finances. But any Fortune 500 company, the CFO and the next guy under him leaves within 2 months or a month or whatever time it was, people would go crazy. That doesn't happen. Something is wrong here, and that's why we're in this situation. The fact that the finance director could leave this city without any information, is that correct? Is beyond comprehension, and that is wrong. I believe that Richard Warren is actually, Marisa said he was fired. He's actually on admin leave. So I think what we should do is have another budget workshop with him here, because he's still being paid. So he should be here to answer questions to the public and to all 5 city council members, not 3 like the last meeting that we had. I believe we should all be here, and we could all question him. So,
Mr. Mandy, Mr. Real, so if the city manager is here, then he's a city manager. He can fire anybody he wants. You have to be careful with that.
Well, he needs to answer to us. That's all I'm saying.
Well, the problem is that you're saying that the finance director up and left, but don't forget, you fired the city manager. And you fired the city manager and you prohibited all your staff from talking to him. So how are you going to get the information? But let me tell you, I think that probably would have been helpful is to have some communication. There was such a huge communication breakdown here between this council and our last city manager, which he was a very expert and knowledgeable and experienced and all that. But if you need to move forward and you have no information, I think it's really important that you find the information first before you actually make any decisions. Pun and McGeady have been there always. Always. They knew the story. When they came in from the last audit, which was the 13, 14, because Oscar Rodriguez was also fired, and he wasn't able to finish that last audit. Richard was able to do it. When Richard got here, the auditor said, we have issues in our finance department, we have a huge backlog. So as the backlog existing, I knew that. I knew we had a backlog all this time, because I did have communication with our city manager and our finance director. But because there's no communication here, to them it was a mystery. So as far as Panama-Giddy knowing exactly what was going on in that office,
well, I think we've gone too far.
So, like I said, you're going to meet with them on Friday, right?
We've gone too far from our agenda. Our agenda actually about the budget spending limit. We're going to
well, it's important to discuss
spending.
this. It's important
the city budget. When they don't do the approving the future budget by June 30, we have to approve this one to keep on going to the spending, and then while we're spending to the budget. That's
right, but it's also important for the citizens to know why we're stuck.
We need another budget workshop. That's what we
do. We need to. But without recording is placed, what we're going to do it? All the fixtures numbers, we're going to play with it. We have to have a clear number before we have a budget workshop.
See, when you say fictitious numbers, when you say things are missing, you guys have auditors, and you need to talk to them, because your auditors have been there from day one holding on to Mr.
Well, we're
Warren's
talking,
hand.
I think Mr. Finley have an appointment with the auditors by this Friday?
Yes, once you talk to the auditors, you will know that a lot of your mystery that's been out there, there's actually, there was a executive plan of action.
Okay, point of order. Let's get the vote on this one. The number 9. Who's make the motion to approve it?
Oh, since I pulled it, right? Or anybody else have any more
you-
questions on
anybody-
item number 9?
Anybody can make the motions.
So moved.
Second, for discussion. Who determines whether or not these numbers are fictitious, Mr. Kim? Do you?
No, I'm not talking about this number 9.
You
Number 9 is
mentioned
budget.
that on the budget that the numbers are fictitious. But
For the past.
but my question to you is,
Well, wait, we're talking about the number 9. This is out of the agenda.
right, he made
It's
a
out of the
motion to
agenda.
approve, I
Well-
made a motion for discussion and seconded it.
No, yes, but this
Now,
one is a
I
budget.
only have one question.
One question? That fictitious name. The fictitious number.
I haven't asked the question to you yet.
Yes,
How do
because
you know what I'm asking?
we don't have a recording. We don't have any recording in the book. How are we going to come out with the number? How much we spend it? That's simple.
No, that's not my question.
You don't know how much. You don't have a record how much you spend it. How are you going to figure out how much you spend it? Would you tell me, please?
What can I ask you? Who's asking questions here? I'm asking the question, Mr.
Yes.
Kim, not you.
Yeah, that's some question.
But you had. I'm referring to a statement that you made.
That's my answer.
Okay.
My answer
How do you
is
know what
clear.
the answer is if I haven't asked the question yet?
Oh, you answered the question already?
What is this, Jeopardy?
You already asked the questions. The fictitious number.
My
That's
question
simple.
is, who determines that the numbers that you brought up are fictitious?
I
Well, I don't bring any number
Kim-
because
No,
the number is
that's
not
a statement
correct.
that you made.
Okay, point of order. Then let's go to vote.
I guess he doesn't want to answer the question.
You already have an answer that you don't
let me-
understand.
No, why
you
don't
don't
ask-
understand English.
Kim, why don't you ask the
don't understand
finance?
English.
Yes.
Calm down. Why don't you ask the finance director? I believe the reason he says they're fictitious is because they're based on projections. We need actual numbers on the 2013-14 budget before.
A
This
budget
is for next year. These are
100%
No,
projections.
the
projection.
project. Okay.
A
on
budget
the
is 100% projection.
Yes, the proposed budget, but not the last year's budget. We already have actuals. Can you come up here, please? So let me ask the finance director a question, and we actually okay.
Okay, we're
so the
gonna go
budget.
on here.
Hold on. The proposed budget, 2015-16 budget, is proposed, correct? On the budget that the last city manager gave us, correct?
Yes, correct.
But 2013-14 is also proposed. It's also estimated, and those numbers should be actuals by now. At June 30th, you already have unaudited actual numbers. You're supposed to have them. Is that correct?
June 30, 2015. you are
Correct.
referring to.
So you have those numbers already.
No, we don't have the numbers for.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. The budget that Mr. Richard Warren gave us did not have actual numbers, which he should have had by then.
Yes.
So that's the reason I question that budget, because how can you go I understand the new year budget is on proposed numbers, but you should already have unaudited actuals the year prior, because June 30th, you closed the year, correct?
Yes.
And it does take 2 months for accrued income to come in, but you pretty much have 10 months already, correct?
Yes.
So the budget that they gave us does not have unaudited actual numbers. It's just numbers. I think this is what we made last year.
Yes, if I'm correct, I don't think you council get a financial statement on the last 9 months.
We haven't gotten a financial statement in 9 months. That is correct.
Yes.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's important to also add
Okay,
that.
okay, we have a number 9. We have a number 9, you're out of the agenda. Please.
So you're not going to let me talk anymore?
No, we're voting.
Aye.
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 Thank you. Number 12, resolution of the City of Calexico adopting and certifying as accurate and the final quarterly plan progress report for the Sustainable Communities Planning Grant and accepting as complete the draft targeted general plan update include draft in agricultural element, draft climate action plan. I think this one is Ms. Hurtado pulled out.
Yeah, City Manager. This talks about a grant. The resolution report for the Sustainable Communities Planning Grant. Okay, in order to be able to apply for grants, we do need to have the books closed. Then subsequent to that, we need to have the audit done. So what grant are we talking about here? Is this going to be held up? Because, I mean, I'm pretty sure that everybody understands that all of the grants, everything having to do with grants will be held up until our finance department actually closes the books, right? So is this grant then also going to be held up, or was this already something from before?
This is something I believe from before, but Mr. Servin is here to respond to that.
Okay, so it is true though, right? And if this is from this year, we will not be able to have any grants in the City of Calexico until such time that everything's closed and audited.
Correct.
That's why we have a crisis.
Correct.
Okay. I motion for its approval. There's no other questions.
Second.
If there have any discussion, we have
I
a vote.
second for no discussion.
Do we have a vote?
Aye.
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 4-0. Mr. Real is absent. Number 13, resolution of the City of Calexico accepting the stated COPS funds for fiscal year 2014-2015. We need a simple what's called explanation on those.
Simple explanation, the state gave us $20,000 more than last year, so we had to do an amended return, so now we get 120. And with this resolution, we get 20,000 more from the state.
Thank you.
Okay.
By the way, I was mentioning with the city manager, if we can have, with the COP grant, we can have one officers in downtown areas to go to lots of issues in downtowns.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we have 17
and
people right now in the hiring process, and we get some people hired. That's one of my places I'd like to even put a footbeat down there.
Yeah, and also to go to school to educating the children.
And we're also working with the school district to get the school resource officers back.
Thank you.
Motion for its approval.
Second.
Aye.
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 5-0. Approve it. Resolution of the number 14. Resolution of the City Council of the City of Calexico prescribing the depositors of city funds and prescribing the method of drawing ones and the checks of the City of Calexico. Mr. Who is going to explain? Lawyer or Mr.
I pulled this one. Just give me a second.
Number 14. Who's going to explain?
14?
Yes. 14.
Yeah, basically this is just a resolution that is required for us to change the signatures on the bank accounts. And so what we done, instead of having a name on there, we did it by position. So that way we don't have to be coming back and forth to you every time like when we find a permanent city manager, coming back to you, bringing that, or we get a new finance director, bringing it back to you because it's by name. This is by title only.
So Mayor Kim's not going to sign the checks?
No.
I don't have to.
So does that, my question is that we did not have direct deposit for our staff. Why did that happen? Is that why that happened? Because apparently people had to come pick up their checks because they did not have direct deposit? I had to come pick up mine.
Well, we can check on that, but the direct deposit, as far as I know, was in place.
Okay. All right. So I guess somebody needs to tell me what went on there. Okay. A motion for its approval.
Second.
Aye.
Both house, aye.
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 Mr. Finley, would you consider checking our voting light?
Yes, I will.
Please. Okay, discussion and potential action items. Number 15, request for the funds for services relating to the Christmas parade by Chamber of Commerce. Number 15, so City Manager.
Yes, this item was being requested by the Chamber of Commerce for the annual Christmas parade to be held here in Calexico. We have Ms. Hildy Carrillo here from the Chamber who can answer any questions that you may have. They're requesting a $10,000 donation for the cost of promoting the parade. And so she has given us the background materials. So the backup materials, so it gives you a description as to what it costs and what her support incurs.
Okay, so any council member wish to talk?
Well, I have some questions here. I believe we, is there, I don't see in the backup material, like an estimate of the $10,000, oh, Hildy. I guess something where the money's kind of separated on where the $10,000 are going to be spent. And then also I think, didn't we approve is anybody here from the border, what is it, border?
Border Bandits, yeah.
Border Bandits?
Desert Valley.
Desert
Valley. We approved some money for you guys to do the parade. So do you guys, can you maybe give us some,
Mayor Kim, it's nice to see you, council members, Mr. Finley, in your new position, although temporary. My name is Hildy Carrillo. I'm the Executive Director of the Calexico Chamber of Commerce. In your backup packet, there's the history as to why we have to contract for services. It's not a donation, it's a contract for services to organize the annual Christmas parade. The Calexico Chamber of Commerce has historically received an allocation from the City of Calexico through the Redevelopment Agency since it was founded. And with that allocation, that also covered the organizing of the Christmas parade. The Christmas parade was founded back in the 60s, and ever since then, the Chamber of Commerce has organized the parade, starting with the 2030 Club. And when the 2030 Club dissolved, that's when the Desert Valley Bandits took it over. When RDA dissolved, we no longer receive an allocation from the city. Therefore, we have to contract for services, which we've done the last 3 years. I gave Ms. Mayor Kim the backup and also the rest of the council. I met with City Manager Finley and we discussed it and it's all there. I can't break it up to you, but it'll cover all the supplies and all whatever it says there. It's always the same. We've added certificates this year, and mainly we cover insurance for the Desert Bandits and the City of Calexico and the Chamber. It's double insurance, I believe. And it's to organize it. Somebody's got to organize it. It doesn't have to be us, but historically we've done it. But you never noticed we would get paid for it because it was under a full allocation. for a year for everything else.
So,
City manager, what other cities does? The city pays for the Chamber of Commerce or any entity doing it?
I'd like to hear from the Desert Bandits. So I'm a little confused here. We paid for the Christmas parade, for you guys to do the Christmas parade, but this is also for the Christmas parade.
Mr. Real,
Yes.
Councilman Real, the bandits usually have to fundraise in order to pay for their trophies. It is the host committee, but somebody's got to organize it. And so therefore, they came to the city council to get a donation for their trophies and plaques because it's very hard to fundraise right now. And therefore, that is going to help them immensely in order to give away trophies to every participant and plaques to the grand marshals and so forth. We work very well together, but $2,500 is only going to cover their cost of immediate necessities like the trophies and having to banners and having to deal with the vigilantes. Mm-hmm. I didn't mean to speak for you, but that's okay.
Our funds are way different from the council.
So in the past years that the chamber has been given money from the city of Calexico, they never paid the bandits. You guys never got money from the chamber?
We got sponsors for all the
sponsors. So in other words, okay. So when we approved the monies for you guys, it just pretty much means you guys don't have to get sponsors now?
Yes, we do.
You do?
But I think he came up short this year. Was that correct, Mr. Cuellar? They came up short. They're usually, I recall them never asking the council.
This is the first time we come up for the council.
But whatever they've done for all these years to provide scholarships, to provide those things that our youth, to make the lives of the youth better is gone way beyond the $3,000 that they've asked. So this is a different case with the Chamber of Commerce, who promote the downtown businesses by having this parade. Is that correct, Mr. Risen? The downtown is promoted with this parade. So they bring the people downtown, they shop downtown, they come and see a parade, and they celebrate the Christmas season. We have stopped, RDA has stopped funding the Chamber of Commerce, and in the last several years, we've been sponsors for the Chamber of Commerce, not only to put on the parade, but to put on the signature Mariachi Festival. I think this is, makes this community a more convivial community where people get together and celebrate, in this case, the Christmas season.
I completely agree with that. Obviously, Christmas parade is something that we all look forward to. Living here all your life, since you're a little kid waking up. The thing is, you know, as far as giving us something, I guess what I'm asking for is something, some type of receipts, tangible receipts. You know, we're gonna pay $500 for music. Here's a receipt. The insurance is $1,000. I don't know how much insurance is. That can't be done.
We can try, but we've never done it before because it's just, we have to use up a lot of supplies, a lot of overtime, a lot of, I don't know, we can do it. I mean, we can try to do it. But, you know, it doesn't have to be us. It can be some other entity, but it's a lot of work. So, you know, in order to get it done, somebody's got to organize it.
Are you almost saying you don't want to do it? That's kind of what it's.
So, I think Mr.
And
Reyes,
so the city of Calexico never helps out in the Christmas parade. It's usually just you two. That do it?
No, the city's a part.
The city
it's a city, it's a Desert Valley, the chamber, the city.
So,
yeah, we've always participated in giving them a donation for the Christmas parade every year.
yeah, but that's only participation. The city doesn't really do any of the paperwork.
No,
It says
no.
here faxing of papers and calling people. And,
No, we just we provide them support with, you know, setting up the closures of the street, grandstand, helping them set up like that.
Okay.
okay, so where are we? I believe that Mr. Reyes was questioning is to need more line items for the budget, which is how they became $10,000.
I guess the only thing, you know, and I guess I made the mistake when I voted for the Desert Bandits $2,500 because I didn't bring that up, and I think any monies that the city is going to give out to nonprofits, we should have some type of line items to say this is where it's going. I mean, it's just a blank check, $2,500 seems kind of, you know, I think the city does deserve at least to get something in return to show
maybe
where
an
that
expense
money's
report.
an
at the
expense
end.
report. That's and.
Spreadsheet. Does the spreadsheet saying where the money went to?
Yeah.
Would that work?
So shall we then the table for the next meeting to bring them more details?
That's what they want.
I don't
line
know
items?
because how as far as timing goes, I mean, is this you need
Excuse me?
you need the money like now?
Well,
If-
it would
if
be
we were
nice.
to- if-
Look, everybody's coming up short because business is really bad. The chamber is surviving on chamber membership. And if you're a business and you're having a hard time, your chamber membership is going to be the last thing you're going to pay. So we're having a really hard time. I am the only employee at the chamber, and I have an accountant for 6 hours on Mondays who makes checks and so forth. So the rest of the time is trying to raise money to keep the chamber going. Our funds are very, very limited. It's a lot of work, a lot of supplies, a lot of copies, a lot of phones, and we have to go out and promote the parade because we're at least 2.5 months behind. Last year, we started in August. So the sooner you can get money to us, the better it'll be for all of us.
I think one of the council members should sit on that committee to organize
Yes.
a parade. And
In fact, they have been.
Mr. Real, would you be willing to?
I got nothing but time, John.
If it's approved, we start meeting on Thursday at 4
I
o'clock.
want to be the Santa Claus.
I'm not going to go there.
I got the body. I just need the beard. Okay.
Hey, we got the custom, don't worry.
A reindeer.
So,
I asked all the questions I wanted. Next.
so anybody wants to question, any discussion? The time to make the motion?
So moved to approve the 10,000 for the Chamber of Commerce to put on the annual Christmas parade in downtown Calexico.
Second.
Aye.
Can we? Does it have to be amended or anything like that as far as to go ahead and get the
We can vote them down and then we can amend it.
the
later
line
on motion.
items as far as or how would we go about
Mr.
that?
Mr.
Attorney?
Real.
Well, if you want to amend the motion at this point, yeah, you'd have to vote against the one, speak out against the one that's on the floor. If it fails, then go ahead and
Or
come
do you
up
want
with
to
an
maybe
amended
or
motion.
resend it and say how would be the wording?
To provide
motion to approve
Pending an expense
pending an
report.
expense report.
That's fine.
Yeah.
If it's going to pass, it's going to pass. That way I'll do it. I'll rescind my motion. Move this item, this $10,000 pending an expense report from.
I second the motion. Aye.
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 Okay, thank you very much, Council.
Can I
5-0?
just add, as far as the 2,500, we can also get an expense report from you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, number 16. Congratulations, Ms. Carrillo. Congratulations. Number 16, time limit on city council meeting. Council Moreno, Member Moreno. I think Mr. we mentioned it last time.
Yes, I have worked with city staff, and I've come up with where it says the discussion and analysis. Our closed session should promptly start at 5:30 and go to 6:30. Our regular session should start at 6:30, go to 9:30. And if we need to go back to closed session from 9:30 to 10:30. However, at 9:30, Mr. Real had mentioned a stipulation that if 3 council members would want to continue the meeting after 9:30, it would have to be a majority of the council. And so I think we need to add that in there. However, tonight, I see us moving at a swift pace, so it may not be affecting us tonight, but sometimes we have marathon meetings, and we want to make sure we address those at that time. So I would like for this to go back to include a stipulation, Ms. Garcia, where it says that if 3 members of the council would like it to go along, if it needs to go on, there has to be a majority of the council to vote on it to continue it. That's all I have.
I would also like to say something regarding this agenda item. And I don't know, Attorney Bob, Mr. Harvard, is as far as let's say that a time limit was to be put in place, let's say 9 p.m. or 9:30 or 10. We have to at least have public comment prior. Is that probably just to make sure we don't violate any laws as far as the public being able to come in and speak their mind?
You have to give the public a chance to comment before the end of the meeting, and they have to have a chance to comment.
Correct. So that should probably be in there just to make sure if we get to 9:30 and public comment hasn't gotten here, then we can't stop the meeting.
Okay.
So that should be in there that no matter what
I believe so.
Public comment has to be there, yeah.
I can't recall a meeting going on at that time where we're still on public comments, but yes, I think
it could happen.
Okay, I have a different perceptions.
Yeah, of course you do.
Yes, we are elected person. We ought to work for the community. We are representing the community, and we have to have ready to consider ourselves to be functionable to when we make the decision. And I believe we have to do put all the effort to finish the meeting earliest, but doesn't have to be choking. 9:30 is kind of too early. We just trying to go to home. If they want to go home that early, why they run for this council?
I can answer that question.
Why they want to go to home early to take care of family? They should not run for the council.
There's a thing called working smarter and not harder. Okay?
Yes.
And you can prolong a meeting as long as you want. You can be filibuster all night long if you want. But we want to get business done. Okay? If you were on the school board and the school board went out to 1 o'clock in the morning.
It was 2:40.
It's still too early for you, Mr. Kim. But I'm just saying, let's get business done and move on. That's all I'm saying. That's what this is in for.
Yes. So we agree to.
I got elected to take care of business.
Try to finish all this that we can.
You got elected to take care of business.
Yes.
And that's all I want to do is move the meeting along at a good pace.
Yes, we have to do it. So if you guys cooperate, we can finish earlier, not prolonging the meeting.
Okay, so
thank you.
Where were we at here?
Well, you added a couple of things. We were
so are we gonna
if the meeting hadn't come, if at 9:30 we haven't finished public comments, then the
is that the correct? Is that the time that is 9:30 the time proposed?
I figure 3 hours is good enough to take care of business. This is a business meeting.
Yes.
So at 9:30 on the dot, the council would take we need a majority vote to extend.
Right.
Correct?
3-2, simple 3-2.
No way. You guys be lazy. You go home. Just spend the time to resign from the council.
Mr. Kim.
Mr. Moreno, would you?
I work a 9-hour, 10-hour day.
Me too.
Mr. Moreno,
but I work.
Would you
I
entertain?
work too.
Mr. Moreno.
Yeah. I work. I have to help my wife. I have to wake up at 6 in the morning.
I have a big volume of business. Anyway, go ahead.
Mr. Moreno, would you entertain at 10 p.m.?
Well, at that point, at 9:30, that's when we entertain. That's when we can make a motion to continue.
You can resign, go home to stay home.
Okay. So are we actually voting on it today? Is that what we're trying to do?
No, we need to bring it back and
back
some more stipulations.
Okay. All right. So motion to continue?
Yeah, motion to continue.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a second? By me.
Yeah,
motion.
Go ahead, Mr. Real. Motion.
A motion to continue.
To continue?
Yes.
So next meeting, they will bring it again.
Let me understand that. Motion to continue.
To
discuss.
Add some items here that they're not in writing. And Mr. Kim wants us to go to midnight, so we're gonna move it to midnight.
Well, in my case, I don't want to stay until midnight, but I believe we are public official and we need to serve the people. Yes. If we were to set up a time limit, we kind of say not to attend the public. So I believe if you continue to work on the time limit, I mean, we already accept to be public servant. We need to be here at least until we finish, not to midnight, not to 1 o'clock, but I mean, that's my point.
And I agree with you, Mr. Castro, but there are certain events that are based on time limits. When you arrive at an event, when the event starts, when the event finishes, there's time limits. A football game has time limits.
There's a
It's
first,
not the football game.
there's a first and a
This
second.
is,
Just-
city business.
So I want to give it that type of feeling. Okay, go ahead. Let's vote.
Aye.
We're going to continue. Aye.
Hi.
Aye, to continue.
Continue discussions.
No, continue this item at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Hopefully it comes up at midnight next time.
Number 17, introduction and waive the first reading of an ordinance amending the city's purchasing policy and procedure to reduce the purchasing authority of the city manager and make other changes to the city's purchasing policy and procedure.
I had a question on 17, Mr. Finley. As of right now, you're bringing everything to the council that's over 10,000. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I motion for its approval.
Second.
Aye.
I will do the title.
dormido.
Oh, you mean read the title? Number 17.
I'll read it if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Introduction and waive first reading for an ordinance amending City of Calexico purchasing policy procedures to reduce purchasing authority of the city manager, make other changes in the city's purchasing policy and procedures. Make a motion to approve 17.
Second for discussion. Mr. Finley, how do you feel about reducing it to $10,000?
I already made the second.
No.
I already made the second.
Did you?
He made the motion.
Can I ask for a discussion?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. How do you feel about reducing it to $10,000, Mr. Finley?
It's your decision. I'm willing to work with any policies.
Do you think it'll clog up a lot of work that normally would be taken care
Like
of?
the $117,000 check that was here, that no one knew what to do with it, right? $117,000 to JPIA. That's pretty important. What are we going to do with those kinds of payments?
Those are
What I was
reoccurring
trying to
costs. That
ask.
has nothing to do with this spending limit. Why do you lie to the public? We have, when
Excuse me.
Mr. Richard Warren had $50,000 spending
I'm
limits,
sorry, I was speaking to the city manager.
there was checks made out for
Mr.
over
Mayor, we're
hundreds of
trying to
thousands
have a
of dollars.
discussion
It has
with the city
nothing to do with
manager and
it.
asking him his opinion.
Can you please explain the difference between reoccurring costs and your spending
Wait a
authority,
minute. I
please?
asked the first question.
Okay.
How do you feel about
Okay.
that? And what did you say, Mr. Finley? Is that okay with you?
It's okay with me because the reoccurring costs are the normal costs like the IID, the electrical bill, the payments to consultants that are reoccurring that already been in place. So those will continue.
Okay.
What we're talking about is any additional capital improvements
Okay.
or anything like that is over $10,000 will be brought before you.
Okay, so if you're okay with it, then I will call for the question.
Yeah.
Okay, call for vote.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Hurtado?
She voted no.
No.
Okay, 4-1. Ms. Hurtado, no. Okay, number 18. Councilmember Hurtado agenda item request discussion and the direction regarding appointment of interim city attorney Carlos Campos and the law firm of Best and Krieger. No backup material provided by Councilmember Hurtado. So
I think we need to straighten something out. As far as the agendas are concerned, this item was not my intention to have it this time. This was an agenda item from like about a month ago. So the lack of communication between staff, whoever it was, to the council when we're trying to do this, maybe it would be a good idea to say, maybe have a little bit of contact with us when you're trying to develop your agenda. Because number one, the 5 agenda items that I gave you, nothing was on there. I don't find out until I see it on the website. And then I see on the website that you left one on there, and I was even confused why that was there. So maybe when we're developing these, I think it's important that you have some kind of contact to all of us, so at least we know what you're having here, and we could avoid these kinds of things that appear on agenda when it's really easy. All you got to do is just call me. But being that it is on there and that we have such a great audience today, I will talk about it. And what it was is that we also fired our last city attorneys, and one of our council members went off and found another one. And what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that is that a council, when they decide to hire attorneys or city managers, we all have to be together. The council does not make decisions independently. We make council decisions as a body. So when one day the council showed up with a new attorney name, which was the wrong name, no resume, no known facts, anything about who this person was, and this attorney is representing your city. And so me as your representative, knowing that we had a bit of a surprise, I had a lot of questions because I want to know who we're hiring. Of course I do. This person's going to be working under myself. I did get the opportunity to meet him, though, 15 minutes before the last city council meeting that I was at, which was the 15th of September. This council meeting, 15 minutes before that, I did have an opportunity to talk to the city attorney. And this one here, because apparently there's two, so not sure which one comes and which one doesn't, because this city needs a lot of stability, and that was the concern. Why are we switching attorneys? And so we not only switch attorneys, but we switch attorneys to an attorney who never even comes to these meetings. It's a different one. So to me, that's confusing. It doesn't provide stability to our city. And you know, the first question I asked the other attorney that I sat with was, why is this happening? Why is there so much instability in the city of Calexico? There's no answers, of course. But one thing that I did want to make sure to let this city attorney know when 15 minutes before the last meeting was how important it was for him to do his homework with JPIA. And JPIA, the problem is that we're under an agreement. And that agreement says that we need to be really careful about the adverse decisions, which is about hiring and firing, because this city requires stability. Even our insurance company looks at it and says, you guys need to be stable. So we had stability, and all of a sudden, from one day to the next, it's all changed. So what I wanted to make sure once I met the new city attorney was to tell him, maybe you might want to call JPIA, because each time we have a meeting, there may be a violation. And you need to understand what those violations are. But no, there was no phone call, and so we walked into that meeting and there was a violation. And the violation that triggered now today the crisis that you have. So to me, that was neglect, and I see that this city council here is, once again, neglecting the responsibility or fiduciary responsibility as a community. The decisions that have been made on this council were unnecessary, were negligent, and just simply causing chaos. So this tragedy, these actions, you seem to see just normality. It's not normal on the inside. And that's why a lot of this happens and why we have so many differences. However, from this moment on, I have asked for some type of relief because I love my job as a city council member, but I can see that this council is taking this city in an unnecessary nosedive. So unfortunately, it started with the change of attorney, and I've spoken to him directly about it, and it makes me very uncomfortable to know that we are in a situation that did not need correction. The city needs a lot of correction, but we had that type of high-level expertise. But again, my question to all of you, and you should ask yourself, is why are we in this crisis?
Thank you, Ms. Hurtado.
I'm sorry, sir.
You're
One
still
more
doing
minute.
it?
Yes, this is my item.
So that's why we finished the meeting late.
This is my item, sir. This is my item. To the staff, you experienced this already 3 months ago when you almost lost your job. So there was no plan B. And I asked the city attorney also, where's the plan B? Where is all this going to? And I'm going to continue asking those questions because it's what you guys all need to know. And if no one else is speaking about it, you need to know because it is your right, and this is about transparency. There's information out there with different reasons why we lost our city manager, about internal investigations. That's not true. The city attorney told me there's no investigations on that gentleman. And the rest of it is rumors. So why are we in this crisis? And I will tell you, it's based on emotion. It is not based on fact, and it is not based on professionalism or business reasons. There is emotion here and a lot of anger and a lot of hate, unfortunately. So I feel very, very sad for our city that we're going into something where we shouldn't be. The only thing that I'm asking, this middle management that's running our city at this point is get yourself some real help. Get yourself some help that's at a professional level. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hurtado.
Can I say something? I'm very glad this item is on here because I haven't been able to speak publicly about this, and there's been a lot of things said here and there, a lot of hearsay. But I really want to say that I'm really sorry to the citizens of Calexico and for the people that work for the city of Calexico that these things are thrown at you, that people are trying to scare the citizens and the people that work here using words like crisis, chaos, the world's going to fall on top of us, going to senior citizens' homes and telling them there will be no water, there will be no light if the city manager was fired. Well, he was put on admin leave. I think everyone still has light and water. I want to bring some clarification to these allegations that this city attorney was brought in without any type of backup or anything of that nature. As you recall, our past attorney, Jennifer Lyon, which I forget the name of the firm name, but anyways, as I came into council in November of last year, I did have some troubling information from that law firm, and me and 3 council members, Maritza Hurtado and John Moreno, decided to change firms, and I agreed with them on certain things. At that time, when they were actually put on leave, they were given 30 days for us to find new attorneys. Mr. John Moreno, isn't it correct that me and you were the committee to find attorneys for the city of Calexico for 30 days?
I believe so, and as well as the city manager.
I believe so. But me and you were contacting attorney firms to try and bring them in before he brought in Lieutenant Tucker. Lieutenant Tucker. So me and you were in conversations with other attorneys. That's where I made the call with Carlos Campos. This was way before they were brought in. Jennifer Lyon's firm was giving 30 days for the city council, which was out. Me and John Moreno were supposed to find attorneys for our city. Somehow, magically, that city council meeting we were supposed to have was taken off the agenda. And it seemed to me that the city manager brought in Lieutenant Tucker without the city council. Now, once they got here, I got to know him. I said, I can try and work with him. So there was no backdoor dealings. Mr. Carlos Campo was talked to way months before they were even brought on, because me and I was on part of the committee to find an attorney firm. They weren't brought from one day to the next. And I do want to add that they are interim. We are right now, for the first time, thank God, we're open to we're getting bids, RFP for a permanent attorney firm. And so we won't have no more interims, because Lieutenant Tucker was also the same thing, another interim. So we're now open. Next month, it's closed, right? Next month, I believe. So next month we hopefully will have we'll have an attorney firm that'll be now have a contract. So I'm glad this is here, because I've been wanting to tell the people how this firm was brought on. It wasn't from one day to the next. I was on a committee to find attorneys in the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Real. Okay. Anybody discuss? Okay, then I'm gonna have a little comment. And due to the Brown Act, any council member, more than 2 council members, cannot talk with the candidate. So Ms. Hurtado wished to one of them, and she always tried to be one of them. That means that the rest of the council members doesn't have a chance to involve in their job.
Actually, no. Go ahead.
So we supposed not to break the Brown Act. We just follow the Brown Act. Now saying the Mr. Hurtado said backdoor deal. So but they asked Attorney General change the Brown Act law, that we can go to the talking everybody together. Thank you.
Can I just say one more thing, just to touch on that fact? In other words, as long as me or any council member makes a decision and talks to Ms. Hurtado, then it's not a Brown Act violation. But if me and John Moreno or me and Mayor Kim bring something to the council, then it's a Brown Act violation because we didn't include another person, Ms. Hurtado. You know what? We can't be having Brown Act violations by talking to the whole council. So, and you know, unfortunately, I've been having to meet with Kim, with our previous city manager for issues that Kim had with him. So, as I was meeting with Kim and him on our agenda briefings, guess what? I can't talk to any other council member because I'm violating the Brown Act. So it took me months. Finally, now I can meet with Mr. Finley by myself, and so I can choose what council member I want to talk to regarding these items. So that's another great thing.
You can be my bodyguard
Hey,
now.
That'll work. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the last question for the city attorney, I'm not sure if Mr. Hargraves would know. Has there been, on behalf of your law firm, any communication with the auditors or with the JPIA to understand fully our picture here in Calexico? And because you are going to be our representatives, have you done that homework yet?
Yes, the interim city attorney, Carlos Campos, has talked with the CJPIA. Those conversations are ongoing, and they're working towards setting up a meeting where they can discuss these issues.
Okay. And are you going to be coming, or is he going to be coming? I don't understand the relationship.
Well,
because continuity,
Mr. Campos
of course,
is the interim city attorney. Unfortunately, he also has a city council meeting in Colton on Tuesday nights.
Okay, that's one question that I had asked him. Why did he take this job if he's already somewhere else on this exact same night?
Because they're interim.
Because it's an interim.
Yeah, but still, I mean, we're in a really bad spot, and so that's one discussion that I had is like, man, we really need stability,
right,
really badly. So I think I'll just close up that, honestly.
In terms of explanation, Mr. Campos is the interim city attorney. He does, all the background work. He works with staff on a daily basis. I sit down with him before the meetings and become informed, but he is the one that's, taking the primary responsibility for the representation. He's working through the issues. He's, everyone's primary contact person. So I'm kind of,
so
I'm here as the messenger.
Mr. Campos will be you're just a messenger? So Mr. Campos will be the one to have the communication with JPA?
Messenger, you are an attorney, right?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. He has had communications with the JPAA, and those communications are ongoing.
Thank you. Okay, we have a public comment, Mr. Jason Jung.
All right, I just wanted to touch on something that Ms. Hurtado said. Ever since you guys let the other city manager go and put Mr. Finley in there as an interim, and you guys got this new city attorney, things seem to have quieted down in the city because people seem to be happy. They brought a calm and a calmness to the city. The city council meeting is quiet. There's no more yelling and bickering, and it's so smooth. And I think whoever chose to let the other city manager and the city attorney and bring them in did a good job. And you guys just weed out a couple of bad apples that are still left here, like over at the police department.
Thank you. Okay.
You can thank the 4 council members up here for that.
Thank you. Before we go to vote, I have a clarification. We should not, or I didn't have issues from a city manager. I just had precaution, the incident with the city staff, and I have to be careful to possible incident for the city for the reliable. Certain action might happens. That's why I needed to have someone from the council member guarding me together in the meeting. Thank you. Are we gonna call the vote?
What are we voting on?
We'll have a motion to.
It's not an action item.
Yes.
No, you were at 18.
Potential action items.
So 18, there's nothing there to vote on.
There's no backup.
It's a discussion.
No backup, okay.
Discussion. Okay, so.
Okay. So we've done this one then. We're gonna be 19.
19. Professional
service agreement for the interim city attorney. Services
on 19, I have a question. When Best and Krieger were brought on, and I don't know if you have this information or not, but there was a price given of I think we were paying $250 an hour flat rate with Route 10 and Tucker. I believe Best and Krieger were brought in at 220, or is it 225 an hour?
It's 220.
220 an hour. So something was brought up to my attention that on some occasions it's higher, and that's not something I was told at the time. So how much? I guess what I'm asking is 220 the amount being charged most of the time, or how do in other words, how do we know what is considered 275 and what's considered 220?
Okay, it's in the agreement. It's also in the staff report. The general counsel services, which is the routine kind of services, is at 220, like for attending the meetings, working with staff. And typically it would be 75% of the services would be general counsel. Special counsel is services that require, particular expertise. Like litigation would be special counsel. There's a list of things: complex labor and employment, complex public policy.
Are you guys doing any of that with the city of Calexico now? Because my understanding is Route 10 and Tucker is still doing most of the litigation work, and is that correct, City Manager?
That's correct.
So Best and Krieger at this moment is pretty much charging 220.
Right. The only exception would be one of our attorneys, I believe, is looking into the police investigation so they can inform the council on that. I'm not sure whether she is at the general or the special. Typically, she would be at special counsel rates.
Okay.
So I would anticipate that, 80 to 90% of the services at this point are at the general counsel rate.
80 to 90%.
That would be my expectation.
Okay.
Okay. I have a question. I believe the Route 10 Tucker is supposed to be to transfer all the duties to the new law in city attorney.
No.
Well, only Route 10 Tucker was one of the case, the Marvin Main case, about the condo case. That's the only one he's still staying. Rest of them is supposed to be stopped by them to transfer to the new city attorney. That's what he had a decision on those.
I don't know if that's necessarily.
Yes,
we should be talking about that right now. This is more of how much they're getting paid and if we want to keep them on or not. I think it's.
We can come back with a full report, but there are different attorneys working on different items. There's other law firms involved also in like some of the litigation, some of the police officer cases. There's another labor firm involved in those, and we're not taking on anything that the other firms are already engaged in, because there's a loss of efficiency if you try to switch firms in the middle of the road. We are taking on stuff that has not yet commenced, and then we're taking on the general counsel stuff. But if the other attorneys are like already doing the litigation, they're going to continue to do the litigation. But I can come back to you with a full report about who's taking what and who's keeping what.
Okay, please.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the professional service agreement for interim, now this could be terminated at any moment, correct?
I believe it says 30 days notice, but the reality is, if you tell me now, it's terminable at will.
At will.
Yeah.
Or and that's by 3 votes of the council.
Right.
A majority vote.
Right.
Okay.
You mentioned something about a female attorney in charge of investigations for the council. Is that what you said?
For police.
You were saying that that the differences of the fees is that when you have litigation and things like that that are highly specialized, that's when the other fee kicks in. And you mentioned something about, I just heard you say something about a female attorney that's in charge of investigations for the council.
No,
The female
to
investigator.
inform the council. She's an expert in police cases. She's met with the police chief. She's communicated with the attorneys that are handling
your
the
firm?
cases. Yes, from our firm. The idea is to be able to independently inform the council regarding.
Have you been asked to do that?
I
To
believe we were
independently
go-
inform? Because as far as I know, this council hasn't done that, have they? You've been independently asked to do that?
You know, there again, I'll have to get back to you on that one, exactly where that direction came from.
Please?
But I think it was Mr. Campos's understanding that the council wanted information on what was going on out there, and so that's.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
So this council wants to ask your firm to find out what's going on with the investigations, is what you're saying?
Right, that they wanted independent information on what was going on.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Can the chief, how does that work? I thought the council can't have any information on investigations.
The council's entitled to know in a general way, you know, what the issues are. I mean, the council cannot get involved in the investigation or the details.
Yeah, because
of the
what you're
investigation.
saying kind of seems like the council can know what's going on with the investigation. My understanding is the council in no way, shape, or form should be involved with the investigations.
Right, the council cannot interfere with the investigation, but the council, for instance, ultimately, you have to do the budgeting, right? You need to know.
In other words, the council can be told, you know what, they're investigating something in the police department that has to do with theft, but that's it. They can't know who or why or anything like that, correct?
None of the specifics, but they could know, okay, there's a number of investigations, they are at this stage of the investigations, the expectation in terms of expenses going forward would be this, that, or the other. I mean, that kind of information so that the council can perform its, you know, budgeting and oversight.
But at this moment in time, nothing, no investigations have been stopped due to the council, correct?
Well,
Okay.
city manager and city attorney, as far as I understand, these are employment-related investigations, and the staff has the right to have that process completed. Is that correct?
Would you repeat that?
The investigations that they're discussing here have to do with employees, and employees have rights. So these investigations were resulted from their intent to have a complaint submitted or whatever, and then from there, then the investigations were initiated by law according to their rights as employees. Is that correct? Because then if it's the rights of the employees, we can't touch that, obviously, because it's our employees. And we shouldn't discuss it, we shouldn't know anything, actually, and we shouldn't intervene because these are staff members who have the right to have their concerns taken to the point of finalization in an investigation.
They're not our employees, they're the people's employees.
Well, that is correct. The council cannot interfere with the investigations or that process.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that we're still on the same page.
Well, are we on the topic? The topic is the agreement with the city attorney and the city. Are we going to
Okay,
discuss
we're gonna-
that,
yeah,
or are we
we're
going to
gonna-
discuss other things?
Yeah, we're gonna
So
go
you
back
you
to.
call for the question?
Well, I'm just saying, you know, we're again violating the
It's
Brown
almost
Act by
9:30.
discussing things that are not on the agenda. So I bring it to you, Mr. Mayor.
I motion for its approval, but I would like to, I think 30 days is kind of long for the termination. Is there a way that we could maybe do 15 days?
On what part, Mr. Real?
As far as the termination of the firm?
Okay, well, this is just for an interim basis, right?
Yeah, but what he says is even if the council wants to terminate BB&K, in other words, we need 30 days.
What's normally the procedure, 30 days?
Yes.
Typically, the agreements have 30 days. The reality is you can fire us from one day to the next. I mean, if we're your attorneys, you don't want to work with us anymore, then 3 of you tell us that's the end, then that's the end. The only concern is that there be some kind of a transition, but if we can put whatever day.
I think
number
30
you want.
days is sufficient to get a transition because it takes 2 weeks for us to get meetings because they're every 2 weeks. So I think 30 days is fine, Mr.
All
Real.
right, I can go along with that. Motion for its approval?
Second.
Aye.
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 Mr. Hurtado?
I said no.
Okay, 4-1, Mr. Hurtado said no. Number 19, Professional services agreement
Yes,
for
you already-
interim city attorney.
It's 20, we're on 20.
Oh, okay, sorry.
You can vote on it again?
20, appointment of the mayor and the council members to various commissions, boards, and committees. Economic development commissions, appointment by Mayor Pro Tem Castro. Do you have somebody?
Not yet.
Not yet?
I'm going to wait for the next
Okay.
public council meeting.
Number B, Business Improvement District, appointments by Mayor Kim, Council Member Hurtado, and the Council Member Moreno. Mr. Moreno, you have somebody?
I don't have anyone at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Hurtado, you have somebody?
No, I don't.
Me neither. So we go with number C, Recreation Commissions, appointment by Mayor Kim. I don't have it yet this time. Number D, Financial Advisory Board, appointment by Council Member Hurtado.
I'm going to appoint Maribel Padilla on the finance.
Maribel Padilla?
That's
Financial
a
advisory.
great choice. It's a great choice.
Financial Advisory Board, Maribel Padilla has been appointed by Ms. Hurtado. Is she here today?
No.
Do you
For
see
the
her?
record,
Do you hear her?
congratulations.
I don't think so. No wonder we-
Congratulations, Maribel.
Okay.
She's going to do a great job.
Number 21. Mayor's appointment to the swimming pool project committees.
I would like to say something. You know what? The pool seems to be going along, but we haven't really, the city hasn't, we haven't really been talking about the pool. I think it's important that we maybe, the committee, is the committee still even meeting?
Well, yeah, they meet on a monthly basis or every other week.
Okay.
I was serving on it, and I believe Ms. Hurtado was also the other one serving on it.
Okay.
But I will relinquish my mantle and allow someone else to serve on it. Usually the mayor serves on this meeting, but if it's up to the mayor's prerogative not to serve, that's his choice.
Okay.
So I can continue to serve if you want.
I believe you should.
No, it's I believe that we have city the majority to participate in the money and the swimming pool, and right now we don't get our voice and we don't get information anything on the swimming pool. So at this time we need to change that. Our city managers should be attended the swimming pool too, swimming committee.
The city manager goes. I believe Nick Servine goes. And I think, Ralph, you were on occasion going too.
The city, as a city staff, but at the same time, I like to be there to swimming pool as a mayor, and I like to appoint Mr. Castro be another members.
Okay. So Mr. Castro will be on the swimming pool project committee. You know how to swim, Mr. Castro?
Yes.
You know how to swim?
I agree, I am.
No, you know how to swim.
Okay.
Does this action need item? This item need action?
Just by the mayor? I'm
No,
assuming.
appointments from the mayor. Number 22.
Okay.
General Fund preliminary revenue report for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2015.
I have a question. My understanding is that the MOM system has always, it has never ceased to be our system where our revenues are reported. Is that correct?
Yes.
So why are we still on preliminary? Why, I can't really wrap my mind again why we can't have unaudited financials June 30th. I don't understand.
Okay, the report I want to present to you is preliminary numbers. We can call it audited numbers because obviously they went through the process of being audited by an external auditor. They are not final because we don't complete the process.
What process?
We don't look at the process of doing the review of all the revenues. posted to our system, mainly because we don't have bank reconciliations done.
Your reconciliations are not done.
They are not
When was the
done.
last time they were done? When was the last time a bank reconciliation was done in the city of Calexico?
We just complete June 2014 on
So we're a year
July.
we're a year behind?
Correct. We are a year behind on doing bank reconciliations, and an enterprise like the city is not that easy task. We're talking about over 16 bank accounts.
And let's say 2 years ago, was there always 16 bank accounts? That seems like a lot.
No, we don't used to have that many.
How many did you used to have?
5 or 6.
So why you mean tell me you went from 5 bank accounts to 16 bank accounts?
Currently, we have that many accounts open. It was some transaction, and it has to do with the closing of the Rabobank, moving out of the city, so we switch banks to Wells Fargo.
Okay. So I would really like a time frame on when we can have unaudited actual numbers for not just June 30th, but also the accrued, which is accrued June, July, or August. So August 30th we should have pretty soon, right?
Well,
can you give us a time frame on that?
Okay. At this point, I can't give you a time frame.
Well,
it is more complex than it looks. I know.
Oh, I'm sure it is, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry to really
It's okay,
like
but
that,
you could explain why you feel it's complex, though. I mean, that's why we're here.
Yes, City of Calexico, even as a small city, is a very complex organization. We have an array of grants, programs in the general fund that there has to be reviewed. When I'm talking about review, I'm talking about the accounting process, and put it this way, every fund that the city works is like an individual business. And
how many different businesses does the city have? Is it 32 or?
No, we're talking about 75 funds.
Wow. Okay.
Process is not complete. Process is not complete in regarding the expenditures. The report that I want to present today is just revenues, general fund revenues, only one item.
But they're preliminary.
They are preliminary because
Which means that they're not real.
they are not the final. They are actual numbers.
They're
don't get me
actual.
wrong. They are actual numbers. Money that just came was deposited to bank accounts.
How many? So how many of those months are actual, and how many are projected on the revenues that you're showing now?
At this point, I can tell you because bank reconciliations are not done, and probably we are missing more revenues that we are not posting to the system yet.
Okay.
Can I just ask a question? Do you feel it's in your opinion that a budget is projections? Is that how you would describe a budget? Like this budget right here, ours, the proposed one? Pretty much all of it's projections, right?
Budget and projections, yes.
They're projections, right? Okay. So they're never going to be exact as far as the projections. They're not going to be exact because they're projections, correct?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm seeing here that we projected a certain amount of sales for 14-15, but the actual revenues exceeded, which is great. It could go under or it could go above, because everything that appears in this budget here is projections. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so when we criticize a budget that the numbers are wrong, it's kind of interesting to say it that way because they're projections. So when we look towards the fixing of this budget, we all have to remember they are projections. And, you know, I'm a little worried with the question that Mr. Real is asking you. When do you feel you're going to close the books?
I don't think you're, Mr. Gutierrez, I don't think you're understanding the question. I understand that a budget has to be projected because you cannot predict the future, okay? But you need to show some type of you need to have at least last year's actual numbers to be able to project this year.
Yes.
Correct.
Correct. So that budget has 2 years projected numbers. How can you predict next year when you don't even know last year? You have to have last year's at least unaudited numbers to know where you're at. And
not
that
necessarily.
budget, well, every other city has
Not
it that way.
necessarily, because it's like your home. When you're trying to project your expenses for your home, you're going to know certain expenses that already are going to be repetitive. You're going to know about income that's repetitive. You might not be able to be exact, but you will be able to project. You will.
Well, unfortunately, this is not the home budget.
I don't believe the city should be guesstimating if we already have. We can have unaudited actuals in our hand, and that way we know. I think right now the city is going through some major fiscal impacts, like the peso going up to 17%. Businesses are closing, people are hurting. And they're showing that this year we're going to make more revenue. I mean, how is that possible? That budget shows that we're doing great, and I don't see it out on the street. It doesn't feel like the city's doing great. I think we need at least unaudited factual numbers in order to see to make sure that the numbers that are being shown there as projections can even be the same. I don't see it, to be honest with you. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that I understand the budget is projected, but it has to be based on actual numbers of the past.
Yes, the more closer information we have at a time,
the better the budget, correct?
Yes, it's going to be more accurate.
Yes.
At this point, I don't have the expenditures report.
It's not projecting 2 years forward. It's last year.
Okay. Okay, so I believe we try too much burden on Mr. Gutierrez. Mr. Gutierrez just recently took over 9 days. 9 days, about 10 days, took over the financial. Actually, we are in the chaos under our financial books, and all the reconciliation is not there. And we don't know how much we're spending exactly. Not even, we cannot guessing. What are you understanding? Because we see the money in the book, so and the checking account we're spending. So we have to be all reconciliation of all the record with the 2014-15 budget. We're supposed to have at least like Mr. Leal saying, it's an unaudited actual number supposed to be there. But we cannot have it because we not have recorded all the spending. So I understand Mr. Gutierrez suffers to take over, but I believe the same reason our city manager was put more personnel to help you. And also I heard about we're going to have another 4 more employees to recruiting to help you more. So we like to have as soon as possible to our budget, at least to remove all the foggy things, like at least where we are. That's soon as possible. That's better for the city. So I'm urging to our staff to do best to finish our book in the numbers correctly, the recording on our system.
Once again, I'm sorry to be so hard on you. You've been there 9 days, but I want you to understand where I'm coming from, and that is that there has to be a trend. You can't just say, well, when you're a business owner, for example, you always go on your last year's trends, but that doesn't mean that this year you're going to go buy a brand new house because, well, last year I did great. No, you can't do that, and neither can the city, because we don't know that we're not sure the monies are going to come in every year. So what I'm saying is that we need to show a trend. That budget does not show a trend. The last actual numbers on that budget are 2013. Is that correct?
34, yes,
13. We're working on 16. That's 3 years of numbers in there that are not showing any trend whatsoever. And so, like I said, I thank you for this report. But to be honest with you, I need actual numbers. I need unaudited actual numbers. I mean, I understand you don't know when you can give them because of the issues you're having, but in order to go ahead and start a new budget, I hope that we have actual numbers.
Yes, Mr. Real, I understand your concern, and probably everybody in this audience understand that not having financial information for the last 10 or 9 months is give you the loop. These numbers, Mr. Real, even they are not final, they are the latest that we have actual numbers. Actual numbers means money deposit in our bank
I understand,
accounts.
but out of the whole year, how many, in other words, you're saying they're actual numbers, but up to what date?
Up to June 30, 2015. What is pending is doing bank reconciliations to make sure all the data is posted onto our system.
So in the budget that you guys are going to prepare for the council, we will have at least unaudited financials as of June 30.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
that at least helps.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. One other question. How long have you been working in finance in Calexico?
Around 18 years.
18 years. And is it all? I've been on council 10 months. I haven't gotten a financial report. Is that normal?
No, actually,
If you've been there 18 years, out of 18 years, has the council always had financial reports?
City council, we used to get monthly financial reports.
So when
so
did that stop, the actual financial reports to the city council? When did it stop?
3 or 4 years ago.
3 or 4 years ago? Okay, thank you.
Mr. Eduardo, please don't leave. This is the audit of 13-14, and I have it here. I save all my stuff. I hope you all have it. If you read this audit, it tells you what the problem of the city of Calexico was last year when Mr. Richard Warren started, and it's all about staff. I'm not sure if you read that. But the staff that we had in that department were not trained. The skill level was not sufficient. And so when we had the start, because again, I do have a lot of communication with these two gentlemen, and I do know our story. And what happened was that we did not have the capable staff to be there to be able to work and push those numbers in that computer correctly with high skill and high training to be able to do the job right the first time. If you read this audit and speak to the auditor, which I did, he told me that the majority of our problems of that backlog and why the city became such a problem in our finances was due to human error and lack of training. So if you saw switches happen in that department, it was probably due to that. Now what we're doing right now is we're bringing back that staff without training and trying to fix this huge problem. Remember what I was telling you? That maybe we need to stop for a moment and really realize and talk to the auditor like I have, talk to your people and realize that if it's human error that brought us to this point, which if you like you can speak to them as well, because I did. I mean, I would assume that they're not telling me anything that's inappropriate or incorrect. So if we have a problem of that nature, we're not solving it. We're putting back the same exact staff, which I don't understand why, because there was no phone call to anybody that was at that level to understand what the executive plan of action was there. There was an executive plan in action, and let me tell you real quick what it was. You were going to have that consultant that's there right now analyze, and then bring in an outfit, in other words, a firm, a CPA firm, maybe about 5 people, go in there like a white tornado, put you up to date, close you up, meanwhile, train your staff and have them up to date so that when the white tornado leaves and then your books are closed, then from there on in, your staff will be able to maintain it. But right now, that's why I keep saying there's such an irresponsibility here because no one is realizing truly what you had. You've been working there the whole time. You know exactly what it was. So did I. So at this point right now, what you're telling me and all the fact that we're so stuck and where did it come from and this and that, I do understand that. I just feel that the resolution isn't the appropriate one. I think we're really wasting our time.
Staff is an issue, and that's something that Richard Warren and Mr. John Quinn should have acted on and hired capable people.
They did, and they removed
and
those.
Somebody that they were praising as knowing everything and he was the best of the best is actually right here, Mr. Richard Reno, and he was told to leave before the ship sank. Is that not correct, Mr. Richard Reno? You're here. Can you come up here and say that, please, publicly?
I'd also like to ask him that
this person was the second guy under Mr. John Quinn, and he was told to leave before the ship sank. City of Calexico, this is ridiculous that Mr. Richard Warren and Mr. John Quinn told this man to leave when he knew everything, all the problems that we have. He was told to leave or the ship would sink, to resign. Is that correct,
That's
Mr.?
correct.
Thank you, sir. I applaud you for your bravery.
And a budget must be based on actual numbers from prior year, not on projections.
And that budget is full of what?
What's that?
That budget is full of projections, not actual numbers.
It's the June 30th year-end numbers must be actual numbers instead of estimated. And we must have the MOM printout to prove what the actual system shows our actual numbers are, not an Excel printout. We need the actual numbers from the MOM printout, from the computer, from the accounting software to back up anything presented to the council.
And the council was in the dark? The council was in the dark completely, correct?
John Quinn failed to produce financials, and Mr. Warren didn't manage to that.
And John Quinn told you to make sure the council could not find out any information.
Right.
Is that correct?
Right.
He said that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mr. Reno, also in the MOM programs and in the
Wow is
Spring
correct.
Book, in those programs, Mr. Reno, when you're posting, because I understand you're an accountant, right?
I was a city accountant for 11 years.
Okay. So you're the only one that can post certain things in the system.
Not just me. Other people can also post. Not just me. No, that's incorrect. There's other people that post as well. There's a lot of people that can post.
Okay. But
depending on what the finance director wants.
The question is that when you post, when you're posting, does it say that it's your initials that post?
Anybody that posts is posting against their username. Yeah.
So then when we go in there and we actually make corrections, the corrections will indicate who we're correcting, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So as far as why do you believe that Mr. Richard Warren and Mr. John Quinn wanted to hide all the information from the council? Why were you told specifically to hide everything from the council? Is there?
No, it wasn't a question about hiding. Mr. Warren didn't manage Mr. Quinn.
Okay. Because
he didn't manage him properly and see that Mr. Quinn managed his staff and their abilities to do the work, their skill levels, their performance.
Was it hiding the? But
so Quinn failed to manage the finance department staff.
Oh, okay. But
Mr. Warren didn't have good communication with Mr. Quinn. Remember, as time went on, Mr. Quinn distracted himself with HR and the police investigations and other things, and did not focus on the finance department. Nor did he really manage well. He did not manage the finance department well. He started off okay, but then things went south. And then he lost focus of the finance department and his management function, which is the management of the personnel.
Yeah, the thing is,
that's why Quinn, went south in terms of distractions.
Okay, thank you so much,
Mr. Reno, what you're doing right now is highly unethical. You did that to me too. You gave me all these bunch of different things and reports way back at the beginning when I was a council member, and I just told you need to not do that. So coming here and doing that is kind of inappropriate, honestly, because you did it all the time.
It's the truth.
So maybe the thing is that a lot of our staff
That's why he was let go.
A lot of our staff are wasting time.
He was told to resign.
Okay.
He was told to resign.
I think it's enough is enough. I think I let it happen a little bit to come out the truth for the public, but we should not keep on doing this one. We just need to approve the consent agenda, which is like to receiving the report. And I believe we have, yes, please. I believe that we have a person who's Mr. Romero, Daniel Romero wants to speak.
Okay, this has been an entertaining council meeting. Daniel Romero, Calexico. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the city attorney can clarify this, but when you council inform other council members of anything that is going on, that's not a Brown Act violation. The Brown Act violation happens when a council member responds to all. That's what you cannot do, but you can inform the whole council. One of the things that everything that's been going on here, discussion regarding that item, is based on the numbers that were received by the city of Calexico of 16.9 million. Now, it was mentioned that the 16.9 million is something that the city has received, obviously, for operational general fund. That's inaccurate. About 2.8 million is for Measure H, and congratulations to Measure H. You got another 2.8 million to work with. So that means that the city, the general fund, has 14.1 million. That is the number you guys have to look at. Now, Also a note, City Attorney, this is under your watch, checks being issued under signatures that are persons are no longer employed. That's incredible. City is having a third finance director in X number of years, and I'll correct Mr. Gutierrez. The last financial statements on a monthly basis that were given to the council was about November 2012. After that, they stopped. That's about 2.5 years ago. Why they did, I don't know. It was something that was expected from the finance director, and they were presented. Now, Councilwoman Hurtado mentioned the white storm or the white tornado. I was going to mention that City Manager Finley, you should seriously consider bringing in a professional accounting firm to come here, clear up the books, not clean up the books, clear up the books, so he can work with new numbers. Some time ago, when Judy Hashem resigned and Quinn came in, there was a request for the numbers to be cleared up, what Judy Hashem was leaving and what Mr. Quinn was going to be receiving. Now you have another situation, a very similar situation. You should have a study on what the numbers are that now that Mr. Gutierrez is receiving, besides what Mr. Quinn left behind. Anyway, that is it. You have 14.1 million. You do not have 16.9 million to work with.
Mr. Romero, thank you.
By the way, there's 3 businesses, not 20, whatever.
30.
You have the general fund, you have the enterprise, and you have the successor agency. Now, each one has their own funds, respective funds, but you have 3. The people of Calexico are familiar with 1, the general fund. That's the personnel, the services that are rendered by the City of Calexico. Get that fixed first.
Thank you. Okay, I believe we have a clarification on the page, front page. Council member will just put the front page. Property tax revenue projection is 4.1423272. Second line is actual sales tax revenue is not the actual sales tax revenue. It is actual property tax, not the sales tax. And there are other clarification on the last one after the major H. It was actual sales tax, not the actual sales tax. That is actual major H sales tax revenue, which is like what's called the actual number of the preliminary numbers, the June 30th, 2015. That is the actual number, unaudited actual number is there. So it's not the sales tax, actual H sales tax revenue. So they have some clarification on that.
I would like to add that is correct, Mr. Daniel. We are about a $14 million city. Is that not correct? $14 to $15 million city, and this budget shows 17.9. You know, and they use Measure H revenues to kind of inflate the budget. And I just want to tell the citizens of Calexico that I'm really sorry that the past administration, or well, I'm not, you know, finance director left the city this way. It should almost be. I mean, I don't want to say it's a crime, but I can't believe that he left us in the dark this way. I can't believe that he chose to the person that he was praising as the best employee. Mr. Richard Reno, he told him to jump ship, and then he jumped ship, leaving us completely in the dark. I think it's a huge irresponsibility on his part and the past city manager to leave our city in shambles this way. And I don't. I'm at a loss of words. I don't know what to say about how that happened. But we're going to try and fix it. I guess that's all I can.
One question. You've said that already, but I have a question, Mr. Finley. You've mentioned that Measure H sales tax revenues are not part of the general fund, but are they not a general obligation bond?
Yes, they are.
And are they to be included in the overall general fund of the city? Yes.
It shouldn't be.
Oh, wait a minute. If it was a special bond, a special tax bond, it would be separate and can only be used for that. But legally, it is part of the general fund, true or not true? I think that was a question that
It was sold to the people.
You're
that
totally
were-
right. General, Measure H is part of the general fund.
Okay, so with the addition of Measure H, where are we at in revenues?
The total is the same.
Okay.
16 million.
So why are we subtracting the $2.7 million?
Probably because they are.
Wait a minute, Mr. Romero, I'm asking Mr. Gutierrez.
I don't get to that detail yet, but I'm
Okay.
assuming that there is money committed from Measure H
Right.
to certain projects.
Right, and there's bonding that we've done already
pool and-
with a pool and parks, et cetera, like that.
Correct.
But this revenue that comes in does not go into the enterprise fund. It does not go into the other, it goes into the general fund. True or not true?
Yes, that's correct.
So when you add up the numbers will include Measure H.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not 14.9.
The problem is Measure H was, I'm going to say they lied to the people, but Measure H was sold as a public safety and a
Recreation.
parks and recreation, but the reality is they're using it as a slush fund without going through the proper channel, which is the Measure H committee, the oversight committee. So it shouldn't be in the general fund.
Right, so
because
what you're not saying is it's not going to an oversight committee, in other words. That's what you're saying. But I want to make sure that legally it is in the general fund.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Legally in general fund, but
legally they worded it so that
So it could
so
be,
they
it would
can
be,
use
it
it
would
for
be
whatever they want.
50% plus one
Yeah.
to make it instead of 3/4 vote. They would have to take a 3/4 vote to get it as a special tax bond. But they worded it as a 50% plus one.
Yep.
Yes, so the legally general fund, but it has to have a different department, just
Right,
separate
but it's
from.
still included in the general
include
fund.
general funds.
But it's being.
But let me ask you a
reported.
question. How can you include it in the general fund when it hasn't been voted through the Measure H? It has to go through Measure H first in order for it to then be allocated to be used in the
Well,
general fund.
that's besides-
They circumvent Measure H to go just directly to the general
I
fund.
agree with you there, but it's still part of the general fund. Legally.
You're right both ways, Mr. Moreno, by the way.
Okay, so.
One more thing before we move on. Remember, I presented to you only the revenues, actual revenues of June 30.
Not expenditures.
Not expenditures yet. Of course, there is a debt service payment, bond payment for this. It's not recorded yet, and I can provide this number. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Money, revenues deposited into bank accounts, 16.9 million.
Okay. That's including.
General fund only.
That's including Measure H 2.8.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Mayor,
Yes.
just for a further clarification by Councilman Moreno. Legally, yes, it is 16.9. Structurally, it's 14.1. You cannot budget on 16.9. You budget on 14.1.
And I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you, but.
Okay, well, no, we're agreeing here to this point.
Right.
But I agree with what you said. Legally, it's a general fund issue.
And it always has been since it got.
Ethically and morally, it's a Measure H fund.
Correct.
14.1 is your budget for city services.
Okay, I agree.
Thank you.
That's if we're trying to be ethical.
So.
Touche.
Yes, sir. You see the word ethical in the dictionary? You see Mandy's picture.
Okay, so if done with the general fund fund preliminary report, so if you don't have a question, we acknowledge it.
Acknowledge receipt, yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. And the Calexico Redevelopment Successor Agencies consent agenda number 23, resolution of the Board of the Directors of the Successor Agency to the Calexico Community Redevelopment Agency approving the recognized obligation payment schedules 15-1516B for the period of January through June 2016 and approving certain related actions.
I have a question. In the successor agency, this used to be the RDA, and I know that Mr. Real now is the chair of that, and I hope he's learning how all this functions. The city of Calexico used to have an RDA. A couple of years ago or 3 years ago, RDA dissolved. Cities had to look for ways to be able to preserve their RDA monies. So at this time, right now, the successor agency is controlling a high level of amounts of money, like our pool money and things like that. My question is, because I know that there was a lot of involvement here with Mr. Real, criticizing other efforts that, you know, go around in other successor agencies. So the mystery of when the successor agency then is handling the money, where is the money at? Because I know that there was a Project Phoenix out there, the description of another project in, I think it was 29 Palms, and people kept criticizing that Mr. Warren spent the money. So I just want to make sure that we all clarify for successor agencies, what happens with the money? Is it, or who wants to answer that? You're the chair?
I've been on the successor agency for, I think we just had our first meeting, so I have no idea.
So where does the money go?
It's pretty much to make the bond payment our payment obligation. That's pretty much where it all goes to.
What the state did when they set up the successor agencies is they basically, set up a process where all the money that used to go to the RDA now goes into a separate fund controlled through a rather elaborate process. Now, out of that fund, the successor agency identifies liabilities that it has from the former RDA, because there's a lot of liabilities typically associated with an RDA, like bond payments and contracts and ongoing stuff. So that money comes out of the successor agency funds. Any residual that's left over above and beyond the amount that's necessary to pay the outstanding obligations, that money is then divided up amongst the taxing agencies. And what you have before you tonight are what we call the Recognized Obligation Payment Schedule, the ROPS, which are the amounts that the successor agency has agreed are valid liabilities of the old RDA. Those need to be paid out of those funds.
It's very controlled.
Excuse me?
It's very controlled money. The RDA money is extremely controlled.
At this point, the only amounts that can be paid are amounts that the old RDA was legally obligated.
Which was like our pool bonds and some other bonds that we have in there. So I guess the question, or rather the statement is that it's very clear that no one spends this kind of money while it's not being used. It's put in the bank.
And I just want to clarify, I haven't made that statement regarding RDA money. I made a statement regarding Measure H money, which is the 10% on a yearly basis of what's supposed to be put away for emergency funds. And people were, I never made that statement publicly. I'll make it now. Is that money still there? Was it spent without authorization of Measure H? Because I know when the earthquake happened.
This is not Measure H. I'm sorry. This is the successor agency.
Yes, but you brought up an allegation that I made. I never make that allegation. I did make the allegation based on Measure H monies for, I think it's called the EOC. Is that correct? The emergency fund, 10% put away. Now, did that money get spent?
No, it's not spent. It's put in a special fund. Okay. 10%. Or Measure H is going to that reserve.
Here. I guess we were not supposed to talk about that, but I never made that allegation on Roth money anyways. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we're supposed to approve this one.
So moved.
Second.
Both for the, if.
Aye.
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 Ms. Hurtado?
I said aye.
Aye. 5-0, unanimously. Okay, future agenda items. Any council member wants to?
I need a JPIA factual, detailed update, please, with inclusion of the costs that we will be incurring after cancellation for our fiscal conservatives of the bunch, because I understand that the cost after a cancellation of JPIA will be in the around 4.5 million, Mr. Gutierrez? Around there? So we're going to end up paying 4.5 million approximately, but I'd like the specifics on that. I'd like a more specific audit update. If we can have Mr. Pun come here, please, and we can ask him directly those questions. One more time, a better idea of the financials update, being that we're giving some suggestions here of bringing in a white tornado. And of course, because we are all concerned that we won't be able to have grants after that until such time this is fixed, then we need to know what's pending out there as far as grants are concerned, that we need to know in advance, and maybe there's other options. And of course, I will ensure to watch the video and see what the questions are, but we definitely have to have another budget update now that we have this city manager and this, this team. That's it.
Okay, would you clarify again, please? Would you clarify in the motion, the future agenda? You word too much long words. I need some title of the agenda.
I can specify a little later, I guess.
Well, you making the meeting here.
We need a JPIA
If you want to go there, then you have to go to return to request that.
I'm sorry?
If you want to go to that, then you have to go to the process of return request. This is the future agenda requesting time. So you have to request it here. Or if you want to go to later on, you have to go to under the policies.
Did you understand me, City Manager? I gave you 4 items. Was that understandable? Yeah.
No, you give 4 items too much. Just only 2 each
Where are the
council
rules that
members.
say that's only 2?
Okay, but I think if 2 council members want it on the agenda, then that happens, right?
Yes,
so which ones? What were your agenda items again?
I think that maybe what we could do, Mr. Finley, is that just like this last time when we were trying to set up the agenda, and I was suggesting to you that we need to have communication. If you feel in the future that these items are not something that you can work with, tell me as soon as possible.
I would also like those items on there as well. So if you have 2 people here, I concur.
Yeah, but what is the agenda title?
You want me to repeat?
What she said.
You want me to repeat?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Okay. We'd like to have a specific JPIA update. If it's possible, bring JPIA here or have them available on the phone. This thing about the he said, she said, we can't be doing that. So JPIA update, asking with the presence of a representative, to include the costs of a JPIA cancellation, what it would cost us afterwards. Because we know those amounts already, but we need to give them one more time to the citizens. We also need an audit update for 2014-15. And what it is, of course, it's not about the actual audit update. If you can add to that plan of action, executive plan of action. Then the next one is an update on the financials on the backlog.
Okay, Ms. Hurtado, you only have 2 items. No, okay.
Well, actually, I have 2 other items. So
yeah, so we only have 2.
Okay,
council
City
member.
Manager, do we have a limitation on 2 in what?
Yes, we did it for Mr. Moreno and the mayorship. We are obligated to.
And I also removed future agenda items from the agenda, but now they're bringing them on. Okay, so what side of the mouth are you talking on, Mr. Kim?
We are under the 2, each council members.
I'm sorry that I'm getting limited, but look, if you guys can only take 2 because we're only going to do 2, fine. If you guys don't want to talk about these things to the city.
The JPIA ones, Mr. Ariel, you concur with that?
Yeah, I mean, for the sake of financial transparency, and I also want answers from JPIA. I mean, I think it's a little, premature. I think once maybe you guys go to the meeting, then you can bring us something with substance. But yeah, I mean, I concur with those 2.
So what about the audit, the total update?
But I also have my own agenda item. So
which one you have?
Well, okay. Well, I definitely wanted to bring up the issue of the water bills. I think it's something that a lot of people have been, like 65,000 people want to find out about that issue, and I think it's...
There's only 40,000 residents in town.
I don't know.
That was another item that I had on my list that got denied.
So the water issue, and I have several of them, but we need to do something about
water bill,
that.
what
we need to go to metered water rates, And so I wanna maybe a staff report on that and see how we can go to that, or see if the council agrees with me to go to metered water rates. Another thing that I would like to put on the agenda is there is so many vacant buildings and vacant properties in the city of Calexico. We need to have a city ordinance to make sure we're limited. I'd like the chief to maybe elaborate a little bit. We are so limited in our police right now. We don't have, I understand people are breaking into these empty buildings, but we can't have a police, if we're down to 3 police officers at night, we can't have a police officer on the corner of the old Thrifties because it's got a hole in the wall. These property owners need to have some type of security services contract if they have a vacant building that the security company is passing at night to go ahead and, so I don't know if the city can make an ordinance that if you have a vacant building, you must have some type of insurance or a security company patrolling it. Also, in the same agenda item, these empty buildings, you know, they have to cover their windows. You know, it looks really bad that these vacant buildings have their windows open. You can see all the trash in there. I mean, it looks downtown in our city look horrible. Gas stations are closed down. You know what? They need to fence that, and they all, like Burger King on Imperial. There's a reason why they steal things, because there's no fence around it. And not just a fence, but you need a fence that covers so that the thieves don't see the building and say, I can see an air conditioner in there, I'm going to go steal it. You know, hay un dicho en español, de la vista nace el amor. And they're looking at these buildings, they're saying, I want that's in there. And that's why they're getting in there. So the city has to bring an ordinance, I don't know if we have it, but so that these buildings owners are held responsible for the security of their buildings, and it's an eyesore to the city of Calexico.
Okay, so someone water bill, who's going to concur with the water bill?
I will, because that was one of my items that I had asked Mr. Fenley for
Okay,
as well.
Mr. Hurtado will concur with it. And
So
then
might as well, my
vacancy building security and reserve. I don't know if legally we can do it or not.
Other cities have ordinances like that.
Yeah, we can to some extent.
It's obligated to have the security.
We can require them to be secured. Whether we could require a security
like that,
service,
Chief,
huh? We can look into that.
Good, look into that, because it may raise the rent of the merchant. But that's fine.
But that's if it's empty.
Oh, it's just empty. Okay.
Empty.
Right.
I'm not saying if well, you know, if it has a tenant.
If it's
in there,
vacant. Okay.
So
who's going to be second?
I will second that, Mr. Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno.
You got it.
If we have anybody,
Yes.
so we have
I would
one
like,
more.
I'm sorry?
Only one left.
Okay,
We can
for
have five
future agenda,
items.
I would like to receive or either any financial report. We want I want to see from printed by either the MOM system or by the Spring books. Why? Because in this case we received like the item 22. This report is made by Excel system. So that's mean you can print any numbers or any information that you guys decide to work on that. And if you print it by the MOM system or either by the Spring books, the new software that you're using for finance department, that's something different. So for the future agenda, I would like to receive that information from that software. That's my item.
Mr. Mayor, motion to adjourn.
Wait a minute.
Oh, I'll second that from Mr. Castro. I'll second that from Mr. Castro. Now, motion to adjourn.
You're supposed to launch at some level of the respect.
Okay, I respect you, Mr. Kim.
Thank you.
Now let's motion to adjourn.
Mr. Castro was a financial report of June 30, 2015. The MOM or Spring Book actual report. Concurred by Mr. Moreno. Thank you. Adjourn the meeting. Motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Aye.
We finish the meeting at
Aye.
9:21. Thank you.